Lads, guess what? NBA's almost back. By the time this episode drops, the first preseason game will be tomorrow. So the Nuggets and Celtics are playing in Abu Dhabi on Friday and Sunday, so that's pretty cool. But I think we'll start this intro off with NBA Media Day because it's always fun seeing everyone come back, all the different photo shoots, everything like that, all the interviews, what people are up to over the off season. Mm-hmm. I guess I'll just open the floor up in this intro. What do you guys just thought of Media Day so far in general?
I mentioned it yesterday, but
someone's not on D&D today.
I'm gonna.
The audio doesn't even pick it up. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna kabuji
Forget about
your
it.
butt.
I don't know what that means, but that sounds insane.
That's
what?
crazy.
Okay, just
Rapidly
keep going.
moving on. Antoine, what did you think of Media Day?
No, just going through Twitter. I got a lot of Knicks notification stuff, which was, of course, on my docket because I have all notifications on.
Yeah.
So it was just like the funny things about Brunson and Hart saying who's Cat, who's Carl, because it's not official yet. And then
Bruh.
OG Anunoby is fully healthy and ready to go for the season, which
And
is.
fat.
Yes.
Are you sure?
He did.
That's what you said. I didn't see him.
Bro, he
Excuse
looked.
me.
He
Those are
looked.
your words.
He just looks.
This is no Knicks slander room.
He looks.
You
Like
literally said that.
he
No,
looks
I
like
said
a fat.
Zion looks fat.
No, you
said
literally said
OG.
yesterday.
I said OG
Yeah.
looks fat.
He literally looks like he looks like a fatter RJ Barrett.
That's
right now.
fine.
Yeah.
You know why? Because he's gonna body everybody.
He's gonna injure that knee.
No, maybe they told him to put on weight because of maybe he was a little
They
too
told
lanky.
No, they would never
Nah.
tell you to put on weight if you have an injury.
Why would you
If
tr-
anything, they'll tell you to take off weight
Why would
so there's
you,
less load
yeah.
on your knees.
Why would you trade for someone? Give them $212 million.
No.
Tell them to gain weight.
You have to wait
Like-
till he's on the court. He's gonna be fine.
Okay, we'll
We'll
see.
see.
Okay, he's gonna wait.
What have you thought of Media Day, Gio?
You know, I saw Russ with Jamal Murray doing his thing.
Yes, sir.
Jamal Murray Russ stealing celebrations from Jamal Murray and taking pictures. And, it seems like Russ is that glue guy I always thought he was.
You know why Russ is stealing? Because he knows
He's not stealing.
No, wait, no. You know why? Because he knows he's taking over for Jamal. Because Jamal's gonna suck this year, and he's gonna start for him.
Thoughts on that one, Tyler?
Didn't he literally say like 2 weeks ago Jamal was gonna have a big bounce back year?
You see,
Yeah.
this is a new era. This is a new time.
You sound like Reece James now. This is crazy.
No, he will. But it would be if he sucks. That's gonna be a bad problem to have.
I think Russ could genuinely combine both Bruce Brown and Jeff Green of being that big six man along with being a glue guy.
Yeah.
I think
Huge.
the worst thing is if Russ completely flops so bad they have to cut him. That's gonna be
They won't cut him.
the worst thing to
If anything, he'll just opt it.
Impossible.
If-
Russ getting cut, bro. Stop talking, bro. You're done. Tyler.
he got cut 2 months ago, but like
No, it doesn't count.
no, but basically, if he plays bad, he'll opt in and he'll probably trade him because he's got an opt out after the end of the season. If he plays well, he'll opt out.
You know who's going to need a point guard down the line in the playoffs when we're pounding
The
the
Knicks.
team? The Knicks are
Knick-
going to need a guy like Russ to pound the teams more.
Do you want him to eat the Brunson minutes?
No, he'll just be backup. We need to. Have you seen our bench depth?
You just gave. We'll talk about it later, but you literally just extended Deuce McBride. It's the one position you have. So
Deuce is a
Deuce is not
combo
Russ.
shooting guard. Deuce was a shooting guard at West Virginia. He could play both. If I want a point guard, I would much rather have Deuce bring up the ball. Deuce not bring up the ball and have Russ, or I guess campaign. It sounds like campaign. Like
yeah, he's ass, bro. He's
we'll
washed.
see.
But yeah, no. As far as media day goes, I've been just looking at a lot of different teams because obviously I'm a Nets fan and we're really not doing much this year. It's good to see Ben Simmons back healthy. Hopefully, we don't know how long that'll be for, but
And Lonzo Ball
Lonzo Ball's healthy.
looks good in the photo shoot.
Jimmy Butler looks normal, so no
thought he
trolling.
was bald, no?
No, you fell for the second hell again, bro.
Okay.
Good gravy. He looked like Thon Maker.
Yeah.
When he was bald, but
looked bad.
yeah. So I guess he's finally maybe taking the regular season seriously now. No trolling, all standing on business. We'll see. Lonzo Ball will be healthy. Ben Simmons will be healthy, hopefully. And then we saw LeBron and Bronny in their first photo shoots as the first father-son duo in the NBA, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's actually wild. Just putting it into perspective. And I saw a cool stat too. What was it? It was Kevin Garnett's almost 50, right? He's like 48, 49. And Noah Clowney's 20. And Bojan Bogdanovic, once the season starts, he'll have played with both players in Nets uniforms.
Dang.
That's crazy.
Bojan was there with KGPP and
Jason Terry.
Ray Allen didn't get
I
traded.
really wish we had Ray Allen. That would have been amazing.
Wait, let me ask you a question on the Bron James thing. What do you think is more impressive, Bronny making it to the NBA or Bron playing 20 years in the NBA and playing with his son?
Oh, clearly LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone. I mean, any good prospect will make the NBA. I'm not saying Bronny's a bad prospect, but like, it's kind of what it is. But the fact that LeBron is still considered a top 10 player in his 22nd season at like 84 years old, I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
big up Bron.
We've seen a lot of retirements this past year with guys who have been in the league for half of what LeBron has been in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys retire early too because like they just can't play at that level. But LeBron's an anomaly.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's kind of what it is. Any other thoughts on Media Day before we kind of dive in?
We saw Wemby put on 25 pounds.
Yes, we did.
Looks beefier.
Does he though?
He does.
He looks, a little bit more beefy.
You don't see you don't see as much bone.
Okay.
You still see a fair amount. Though.
Embiid lost 25 pounds, but sitting down,
Beautiful.
I couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
Because Embiid takes up 5 car lanes.
Okay.
Jokic takes up 3. Gio takes up 29,000.
Oh wow. Bro woke up and chose violence
I
today.
tend to do that.
That's wild.
I think that's all I saw. I don't think. Kawhi. Kawhi looked.
Kawhi is apparently healthy, but
Nice
also not
and-
healthy.
Did you
but-
see Kawhi on the spinny thing?
Someone
Yeah, that's
said,
exactly what I said. He looks. He's fine.
someone said that's like my hot pocket at 2 a.m. looking
saw
at me.
that.
Yeah, in the
He said
microwave.
he's like, the way he was looking around.
No, he literally turned around and he was looking all the way until his neck couldn't go anymore.
I'm just laughing at that video. Kawhi was at like a skate park in LA like a few weeks ago, and he was recording some guy like jumping over a table. He goes, "Yeah."
What?
That's really all you heard from it,
bro.
But
Yeah.
Kawhi's funny. But
Day in the life.
Media Day was fun. It always is fun. And we'll see more kind of going forward through training camp, everything like that. And on that note, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 25 of the Floor Spacer podcast. Tyler Schwartz, Anthony Cavino, and Giovanni Squiteri coming at you from the studio once again. Lads, it's the quarter century episode. How we feeling? We're just about 6.5 months into this journey, about 5.5 months, or about 5 months from starting podcasts. So how we been feeling?
Exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
Yeah. No, we feel good.
Starting off October right with a really good episode.
Yeah.
Because lads, I mean, let me open my notes right now because we got a lot to unpack in this week's episode. So obviously, we will talk about some tragic news in the first segment. We'll get to it when the time comes. We have a few retirements to get into, one expected, one unexpected, and we'll kind of give our thoughts there. We're going to talk about and just reflect on Caitlin Clark's rookie season because it was a one for the ages, a very historic season. And obviously, the elephant in the room, you guys saw it in the title and the thumbnail, the big trade involving Karl-Anthony Towns and the New York the Knicks, sorry. And then our what is this, part 4 of preseason power rankings? So teams ranked 15 through 11. So we're getting closer and closer to the top. And hopefully we'll have some more meaningful conversations regarding these teams as they're now in the playoffs and everything like that. So, and obviously it is Gio's turn this week for shower thoughts. So, yeah.
This one came straight from the shower.
Okay.
So I'll be giving you that soon.
Got it. I'm excited for it.
My shower.
No comment on that.
No comment. But any words from y'all before we kind of dive right in?
Cat talk.
Gio, anything from you?
That's all we're doing.
No, let's get straight to it.
Let's
Ready to
go.
go.
So if you guys are on YouTube and you are new around here, remember to drop a like on the video if you enjoy. Subscribe to the channel for new around here. We hit 3K a few weeks ago, and we're just on to the next milestone. We're still growing and growing. If you guys are on Spotify and the audio platforms, make sure to give us 5 stars. Follow us, answer the poll, all that stuff. Follow us on our socials at Floor Spacer Pod, which you can see down below in the description. Follow us on our personal socials. Get Gio to 1 mil on Twitter. I'm always just going to keep saying that because I know it'll never happen, but it kind of is what it is.
So then what's the point?
Superstition, I guess, is part of our pod routine. This is our general housekeeping part of the episode.
I'm going to have to put an end to that.
No, not a chance, lad. The more we grow, the more chance of people following you, and you're going to start getting a platform, sir. So
Don't
be
get
sure
me to a
you.
mil.
No, we're gonna get you to $1 million. We're gonna get you to $2 million once you hit $1 million.
I don't want that attention.
Yeah. But yeah, essentially that is that all the general housekeeping stuff's in the description or just on the screen at the bottom. Unfortunately, we do have to get into some sad news, some very tragic news. This happened yesterday at the time of recording. This will come out on Thursday. So what's today? This happened on Monday, right?
Yesterday.
Yeah, so this happened yesterday. NBA legend, icon, defensive stalwart Dikembe Mutombo has unfortunately passed away at the age of 58 after a long battle with brain cancer.
Wait, how come I didn't know this?
We literally talked about it yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Are you shocked?
Yeah. I literally,
No, I'm actually insanely shocked.
Are you actually?
Fast.
Yeah. Wait, we talked about this yesterday?
We did. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't also see the news either?
No.
Oh.
Wow.
I told you I don't watch the news.
I told you gotta get into the news, bud.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy, though.
Kembe passed yesterday.
Yeah.
Kembe, how old is he?
58.
Really young.
Yeah. Taken from us way too soon.
Brain cancer.
Brain cancer. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, we all know Dikembe Mutombo from the No, not today with the finger wag. His number 55 is in the rafters at Ball Arena in Denver. Obviously, led that Denver Nuggets team to the first ever 8-1 upset in the playoffs. And obviously many more teams have done it since then, but he set the standard. He was the first. But I think what really kind of set Dikembe apart from most is just him as a global ambassador, kind of helping grow the game across the world, mainly in Africa, obviously where he's from. And yeah, I think just someone that everyone loved, just an icon in more ways than one. And he's someone that will be sorely missed in the NBA community and just kind of in the whole sports world. So I'll send it over to Antoine first. Just your kind of thoughts on the news and Dikembe as a whole.
I mean, it's fun. It's not funny, but we always use him for a lot of our drafts and player builds with like legendary players or like defensive players. It's so weird. It's like players we talk about, whether it's like really recently or just they're a lot like in our thoughts when we're doing our shorts and stuff. They just like they're always back in the news, like Dikembe passed, the retirements as well that we're going to talk about later on, even before as well.
Yeah.
But we weren't alive for him, but we saw, of course, grew up with some highlights of him and learned from, of course, watching the games. Just the greats. We, like Tyler said, the finger wag is what we most notably know him for. That's what I know him for. But also, he's, I think, the first. Was he the first African Hall of Famer? Like purebred African Hall of Famer?
I don't think so. I'm pretty
we're
sure there was
thinking,
some before him. He was definitely in that first batch of players, I think,
gonna
at the very least. But I don't know if he was necessarily the first one.
I think maybe Keem was before him.
I would imagine so.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'll just look it up right now.
Yeah,
while
go ahead,
we
look it up.
Talk about it, but continue.
But just an all-around legend of the game. Similar to Bill Walton, who we lost a few months ago. Our legends not the legends of the past before our time, are getting older, and getting older, of course, means your body deteriorates more faster. Of course, sicknesses, cancer, whole 9 yards. Dikembe fairly young, 58, younger than I think all of our parents here. My parents as well are still alive. Of course, they're in their 60s, but he didn't even hit 60. He had a good amount of his life left after basketball. But did he play with Dominique as well on that Hawks team? Was Dominique the power forward and Dikembe was
I don't think he's that old.
No, he's not that.
No?
He's like more of like mid-90s. Well, no, maybe like early 90s.
He finished his career with the Nets and Knicks in the 2000s, in the early 2000s. He retired in 03. So, or it was either 03 or 04.
But also I feel like I learned about a lot of legends like Dikembe from playing 2K earlier on as a kid.
Yeah.
Because we grew up after them, and even NBA Jam. I played a lot of NBA Jam. The legends were on that game, and Dikembe was one of the guys with that Hawks team. I think that's where I learned. Of course, like once growing up, we watched a little more of Dikembe. He used, of course, Basketball Reference to look up like all the stats, what he did in his career.
Yeah.
And then of course we see the highlights from numerous things from like past NBA videos, highlights, just overall from the league. But just a lot of, icons that we know and love passed. Of course, Pete Rose passed as well yesterday later on in the day. That's a baseball icon. But just, it's tragic. It's sad. It shows how precious life can be, especially in the world we live in today. These guys, of course, lived longer lives than us. They, had successful careers. But I think it all goes back to just the one thing in life that is certain, and that's death. And it can come to you at any point in time. And for Dikembe, unfortunately, it came with a brain cancer diagnosis that nobody wants in their life, especially with the brain being a very vital part of your body. I don't know how bad it deteriorated him as a human being, but 58 is pretty young, so I would say pretty fast. It got to him.
I wonder how the quality of his life was like the couple years before his passing. You know what I mean? Like, was he just barely surviving, or was he like doing well? And
I think he was making public appearances.
Yeah, he wasn't in the
because I know
news.
a few years ago he started getting treatment for a brain tumor, and that was really kind of all we knew.
Yeah.
So it was really kept privately, and I respect that because a lot of times it's very overwhelming going through disease like that, and sometimes you just want to kind of stay back behind the camera and everything, and just kind of do your thing. And I know you were a big fan of the 80s, 90s NBA players. What are your takeaways from Dikembe Mutombo's career and just his life off the court as well?
Well, I definitely I remember Mutombo actually more so for the later part of his career when he was playing with Iverson and in those 2000, 2001 Sixers. He really helped him out on the defensive side. They're actually one of the best defensive teams of all time. Yeah. Because on offense, that team is terrible, besides AI. But
no spacing. Even AI couldn't shoot threes well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the team on offense was terrible, but they made it to the finals because of their defense. Yeah. Mutombo anchored that. And so obviously he's known as the best defenders of all time, and it's really just a shame that he's gone at just such a young age. Yeah. And and unfortunate.
Yeah. We will put links in the description to his foundation. I think it's called We Are Family. It's where he does a lot of humanitarian work all over the world. Obviously, I know he built a lot of schools and hospitals in Congo, where he was born and raised. That's kind of it regarding Dikembe Mutombo. Obviously, we send our thoughts, prayers, condolences to his family and his friends and anyone that played alongside him in the NBA. So, very sad. Any final thoughts before we move on?
No.
All right, let's move on. All right, into the next segment. Unfortunately, we're kind of still keeping up with the negativity here in the next segment, as an NBA legend has called it quits and announced his retirement from professional basketball, and it is our good friend Derrick Rose.
Okay, why is that negative, though?
Well, it's always sad to see one of the greats call it quits.
Oh, it was time.
Well, I mean, obviously it was time. He's old as hell.
I don't think it was
it's
time.
better that he's out the league.
Okay, I know you're a hater.
I'm not a hater.
I don't think it was
You're
time.
definitely a hater.
I'm not a hater.
You're
All I'm
definitely
saying
a hater.
is it was time for him to go, and I'm glad he went when it was time for him to go.
But that doesn't mean it's not sad.
Then it will make if you drag it out, it's going to be like, all right.
But it's like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's still sad.
It's not sad.
It's definitely sad.
It's sad.
It's just a new chapter for Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose,
and I actually like Derrick Rose a lot as a person.
Derrick Rose is what got me into basketball.
Okay, but here you are today, not playing basketball. So like, how
No,
inspiring was that?
He's covering basketball now.
Yeah, Derrick Rose. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
It's a new chapter for Derrick Rose, and I'm happy for that.
Right.
But I'm not sad that he's out of basketball.
Okay. I mean, that's just your own personal.
He had a great career.
Because his prime days are past? Is that why?
No, because now Russ has no competition anymore.
No, he never had competition with Derrick
obviously.
Rose.
Listen, Chicago needs to retire his jersey.
Yeah.
Hang that number 1 up in the rafters.
He clearly will.
That's the only team. The Knicks aren't going to retire it.
Wait, should they?
Yes.
The Bulls?
So you don't. That's not even a doubt. You retire that jersey.
Are you drunk?
Should they raise a statue
No.
outside of the stadium for
No.
Derrick Rose?
Oh, I don't
The only statue that they should have is MJ.
That's it?
MJ and Scottie Pippen.
Scotty
deserves one.
And Rodman. Maybe all three of them.
I think
Not Rodman.
I think maybe like 20 years down the line, I think he'll get one.
You think Derrick Rose will get one?
Yeah.
I don't think
Because I don't know, if you look at the Bulls right now, they need something outside of the Jordan era, and right now it's been nothing.
Well, Derrick Rose had like 3 good seasons.
Right.
I don't think that's enough for a statue.
I think a Bulls fan would bite your arm off your sock for 3 good seasons right now.
I think if he didn't get injured, which is the
oh, here we go.
That's the big
Here
one.
we go.
The big one.
All right,
if he didn't get injured, he would have been one of the best. He still is one of the best, but we're talking like in the names of Steph and he probably would have gotten a statue guaranteed.
The two most
now that since that happened, it's kind of on the fence.
The 2 most common what ifs I hear every day is what if D Rose never got hurt and what if Iverson was 6'6". That's the only 2 things.
And what if the Knicks were never injured? That's the third question.
Anyways,
moving on. So I'll kind of give you guys some context because he did commit to play this season.
Yeah.
He had opted into his deal, and then weirdly enough, the Grizzlies waived him back on Monday, and I think it was the previous Monday. Yeah, the previous Monday, and then he made a really cryptic Instagram post on Tuesday, the very next day, and basically everyone kind of knew what he was getting at. And he did wind up announcing his retirement. And the main reason was to spend more time with his family, was basically what he said. Obviously, being in the NBA is very stressful. You're traveling most of the time. You're not...
Family.
Yes.
Family.
Dom Toretto would be proud and also probably cringing right now. But
who?
Dom Toretto's probably cringing at you right now.
Who's Dom Toretto?
Oh my gosh. I'll explain off camera. I don't feel like explaining this right now.
Family.
But yeah, basically, he also did the Grizzlies a favor. He's not going to make any salary this year. Because typically when you get waived, you get your money stretched out and you get paid either right up front or you get paid a subsequent salary over a couple of years. But, by doing this, the Grizzlies now are under the hard cap. So they don't have to worry about it. So he did them a favor.
So he said no thanks to the money?
He wanted to be let out of his contract and he didn't want to take the salary. So this gives the Grizzlies flexibility now moving forward. Because if they have to make trades, they don't have to trade salary for salary. They can do whatever they want now because they're under the hard cap.
So that means D Rose doesn't get his money that he's...
Correct.
He has
he made that choice.
He has plenty of money.
That's up to him, I guess.
Exactly, yes. So he made career earnings-wise, $170 million.
Yeah. He's good.
Adjusted for inflation, that would equate to about $210 million.
Yeah.
So he's made a pretty penny in the NBA, especially after all he's been through. Unfortunately, though, the new CBA will not allow him to sign a one-day contract with the Bulls to retire as one.
That's so
due to the roster rules. I mean, you want
cares
to sort
about
of
all that
so stupid.
One day.
Okay, let me ask you.
The NBA needs to rip up this CBA and put it in the fireplace.
How would you feel if the NBA would not allow the Thunder to sign Russ to a one-day contract to retire?
Care.
I would care.
You would definitely care.
I really would not care, honestly. Like a one-day contract, who cares?
It's storybook.
It's the thought.
Do you have feelings?
No.
That makes a lot of sense. But yeah. And the other thing Derrick Rose did, he sent a bouquet of 16 roses to several people that have helped him the most throughout his NBA career.
Wait, a bouquet of what?
16 roses for each of his seasons in the NBA.
Not tulips.
Yeah. I'm going to pretend that was funny.
Roses.
But yeah,
Roses.
He played 16 seasons in the league, 1 rose for each season to the most important people in his NBA life, which is pretty cool.
Cool.
We don't know who got them, but I imagine the players that were most important to him, or coaches like Tom Thibodeau, for example, could be one.
The guy who injured him?
Yeah.
I got a rose.
But we did find out today that the Bulls will be honoring Derrick Rose when the Knicks come to town, obviously because Tom Thibodeau will be there.
Okay.
So that's kind of on the whole scenario thing. I'll throw it over to you first, Gio.
He's talking about Tibbs, the greatest coach of all time.
Anyways.
Yeah.
That made Derrick Rose
Knicks fan. Don't listen.
Delusional ass Knicks
the
fan.
greatest coach to ever live.
What's your reaction and just your thoughts on Derrick Rose's career in general?
Okay. Derrick Rose had a phenomenal NBA career.
Yes.
Okay. He is a NBA MVP.
The youngest NBA MVP
of all
in
time.
league history. He's 22 years old.
He's a multi-time All-Star. and he is the biggest what-if player in NBA history as well. So there's a lot of things about Derrick Rose to be happy about, because he's a great player.
Yeah.
And I understand the fans when they say he would have been the greatest point guard to ever play if this, if that, whatever.
Yeah.
But the facts are the facts. Things happen. Unfortunate things have happened. And it ends up he's simply just not that guy.
Someone cut his mic.
He's not that guy.
Listen.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you who is that guy.
Okay.
right.
Antoine, what are your thoughts? Tell us about Derrick Rose.
I think the first thing also that comes to our mind is when we think of players, that the greatest players who haven't won a championship. Rose is now on that list. So we have another name to that list of players who haven't won a championship that are greats.
I wouldn't say he's the best.
He's in there.
But I would say he could be up there. But,
he's in there.
I wouldn't put him in the same category as Harden, Charles Barkley. I don't think I can. I think he's just below a tier. I think he's a tier below that.
Absolutely. I think he's multi.
Because think about it. Derrick Rose didn't make the NBA 75. Harden and Barkley both did. So
I would put Rose top 100.
I mean, that's very different from top 75 still.
Yeah.
But continue.
Very sad. Great player, great Nick. Wish it would have worked out more.
Not
with him.
that good of a Nick.
He
But
was
keep
he was decent.
No.
Average
Of course,
16 points.
better bowl. He played with one of my favorite players, Carlos Boozer. Love that team. It was him, Joakim Noah, Booz, Kirk Heinrich, Luol Deng. That's a real starting five right there.
That was a fun lineup.
That's a real starting
It's like
five.
basketball heritage for our generation, at least.
I feel like I'm forgetting some other guys.
Luol
names.
Deng.
I already said Luol
I
Deng.
said
But
Luol, yeah.
that's the starting five. It was
Yeah,
just
that's
them.
the starting five. That was like back in like early 2000s.
No.
It was like,
Yeah.
The early 2010s.
yeah, it was,
2010. Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like
yes,
late
yes, yes.
2000s, transitioning
But,
into 2010s.
Yeah, Boozer, one of my favorite players. Loved watching that team. Joakim Noah was future Nick. That turned out to be awful. But back to Rose. That team, they made the NBA interesting during that time because of Rose being there, of course. Was Tibbs the coach or was it Phil Jackson?
It was
No.
Tibbs.
It was Tibbs.
Why am I
Definitely not
thinking
Phil
Phil
Jackson.
Jackson?
Definitely not Phil Jackson.
I'm thinking Knicks Phil Jackson. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I had I think the first merch I ever bought of like an NBA player was D Rose. I got his like little hoodie sweatshirt when he got his first contract. I think with Under Armour. I think it was Under Armour.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite players growing up. He's one of the reasons why I got into basketball. Wasn't a Bulls fan, just was a Derrick Rose fan.
No, he's definitely a Bulls fan.
Back in the day, probably. But because Carl Boozer was there. Doy.
Fake Knicks fan right there.
Big Knicks fan.
Yeah.
And Tibbs. I cannot be a Bulls fan because Tibbs. Anyway.
Continue.
But yeah, it's just another. I mean, this person didn't pass away like Mutombo, but even regardless, a guy leaving the game who we're not going to see play anymore is sad. I mean, it wasn't like we were seeing him much on the court. Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
He's been averaging 3 points for the past 3 seasons.
He's averaging more than you that's scoring.
Okay.
All right, Jesus.
Okay.
We're going to get into Jesus talk in a little bit, actually. So this is actually pretty good.
Wait, what?
Okay. Well, we'll get into it.
We're going to get into some Jesus talk. This is for you.
But
Okay.
After this.
Okay.
But
D Rose is a player that will be remembered for his prime, not for the 2020s. Okay.
Yeah.
But he did
Yeah.
the one post prime moment he had was obviously that 50-point game
for
when
Minnesota.
he was a Timberwolf.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was beforehand.
There's so many trash NBA players that got 50-point games.
And he's not trash.
At that point in his career, he was garbage. Let's just be real. He was
was
going based
washed.
off his name, just like how Russ isn't as good as he was
he was
before. It's kind
washed.
of like that.
This is wild.
He was washed, probably.
Yeah, he's washed.
And he let his hair grow out too long, probably.
Okay, we're not talking about his hair.
let's just
No, but
But
seriously though, Rose is a great player.
yeah.
Okay, Rose is a great player. I'm not denying that at all. All I'm saying is, I just feel this is my narrative. Okay, I'm gonna push it. I'm pushing my narrative. I just feel that Derrick Rose gets too much. He gets too much credit. I don't know
Listen,
I don't know why.
The comments always flame us for not drafting Rose in any of our drafts.
It's probably because he got injured, and there's so many people that have sympathy that wish he would have been better. That sympathy turned into an elevated view of Derrick Rose when he was in his prime.
I think it's
unearned.
I think it's because you're salty because not a lot of people show love to Russ.
No,
it's definitely.
So wait,
it's definitely salty.
I'm not salty.
It's definitely salty.
Okay, so
fake love.
Okay,
He's a likable player.
I was gonna say a player that's on a similar trajectory with injuries that gets love already and doesn't get hate, and that's Klay Thompson. But Klay and Derrick Rose are on a different level.
Klay's a 4-time champion.
Exactly. That's why I said it's.
There's no player I think comparable to Derrick Rose. Mm. But let me read you through before we move on. Let me read you through his resume in the NBA. Mm-hmm. So obviously he was drafted first overall in 2008. The youngest MVP, as we mentioned before, in NBA history.
Which I don't think he deserved, but keep going.
It was his third season in the league, too, so that was pretty impressive. 3-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA, made first team that year. He was Rookie of the Year in 2009. Obviously, tore his ACL in the 2012 playoffs. He averaged 17 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists on career shooting splits of 46, 32, and 83. So just wasn't
that good at all.
Wasn't a good 3-point shooter, but was decent from the line. Was pretty good average from the field. You know, is really like the elite players shoot above 50, but obviously he's a point guard, so the shots are going to be a lot tougher.
Yeah.
Obviously, career high in the regular season, 50 points. Career high in the playoffs, 44 points. Should be first ballot Hall of Famer, right?
Yes.
He'll make the Hall of Fame. I just don't know if it'll be on the first try. My guess is yes.
Just because of his elevated name, then yeah.
Yeah. Presumably should get his number retired by the Bulls either this year or next year. They are honoring him. I'm not sure if they're doing any of that. And then one quick little tidbit. I looked on Crafted NBA because I'm an analytics junkie. You all know this. And based on his prime years, right? The year he won MVP, 2011, I looked up his most comparable player, the most similar player, kind of like what Jimmy High Roller did.
Cool.
And you're going to be a little shocked at what the results were. So there's offense and defense. There were ties for each one. So which one do you want me to go through first?
Do the offense.
Go on.
So offense, the two most similar players that came out to 2011 Derrick Rose was 2022 Trae Young and 2001 Stephon Marbury.
On defense?
On offense.
Oh, on offense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that was the year after Trae made the run. This was when he had less help and kind of made that run towards he was in the play-in, played the Celtics in the first round and lost. And then defense, 2017 Spencer Dinwiddie, which was his first good year with Brooklyn. And then 2014 Nate Walters, whoever the hell that is. So, yeah.
No idea.
Interesting. I mean, Derrick Rose wasn't a good defender by any means. So I just don't think he was a cone.
No,
that's kind of what he was.
Average.
Yeah, just an average point guard defender. So, yeah. Congrats to Derrick Rose on a great NBA career, especially based on the circumstances, everything like that. Been through so much. And yeah, we'll see what's next for Bro in the next chapter of his life. So, any final thoughts, comments, questions, concerns regarding Derrick Rose?
No.
We'll talk more Derrick Rose in the future. I have a lot to say.
Also, shout out Moses. Favorite player is Derrick Rose. So yeah.
Shout out Moses. We'll talk Moses.
We'll talk. Yeah,
we'll talk.
And on
out of everybody, it's
him too. Yeah.
That's so weird.
And on that note, we move on. All right, into the next segment. Unfortunately, we're off to some more, exits from the NBA. We have another retirement, but this one was really unexpected, not something that we saw coming. But obviously, as more details transpired over time, it's not as surprising, but still sad nonetheless. That 21-year-old former Atlanta Hawk, A.J. Griffin, the son of Adrian Griffin, has stepped away from basketball and announced his retirement after only 2 seasons in the NBA. So I'll give you some general details and stuff regarding him. Obviously was drafted by the Hawks 2 years ago in the first round and really was, fitting in well. He had made 2 game winners, which was pretty cool. Yeah. He had that one, you probably have seen it, where Trae Young threw it in. He kind of jumped, caught it, and threw just a random hook shot, and it went in. He did that twice, I think, throughout the past 2 years. So he had a really good rookie year, was ready to take a nice year 2 leap. I think he was really part of the Atlanta Hawks' plans. And then just kind of all of a sudden fell out of the rotation for whatever reason. Missed some time in December for personal reasons. I think he missed like a week. We're not sure exactly what happened, although we do kind of know, but we're not going to talk about it on the show because it is a little bit sensitive to people. And eventually, if we do get monetized, this would get us demonetized. Because I think you can monetize previous videos. So yeah, that was that. Didn't really play much throughout the rest of the season. Was traded away on draft night to the Houston Rockets. And then rumors started circulating that he was considering stepping away from basketball. We didn't know why. We didn't know exactly what happened. And then on Sunday, was bought out by the Houston Rockets and announced that he was retiring from basketball. And only 21 years old, fresh into the NBA. Obviously will make his I think it was like a $6 million deal, his rookie contract, whatever it is. And yeah, that was all we had known up until about 3 days ago. And he uploaded a YouTube video. That was what it was. He uploaded a YouTube video yesterday or 2 days ago, barring his decision. And it was something that everyone really wanted to know. And AJ Griffin, I'm sure is probably Adrian Jr., but AJ Griffin is a big man of faith. He's a devout Christian, and said that he was stepping away from basketball to follow Jesus. So he got the calling. He's going into the full-time ministry. And yeah, that was basically the news that he gave. So, and obviously on social media, there's been a lot of mixed reviews, a lot of people telling him to go follow his dreams, follow his calling. And a lot of people were left confused because I guess a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people, were saying like, oh, maybe you can make more guaranteed money and then give back and everything like that and all that stuff. But it is a decision bigger than basketball. We all understand that. And we all wish AJ Griffin the best from here going forward. Now, I know me and you were talking about this, Gio, yesterday. And I know you said you had some things to say regarding the AJ Griffin situation. So I'm just going to give you the floor, and I'll kind of just let you talk, because I know you are a religious Christian yourself. So what do you got for us?
Okay, well, to start off, I think I need to know more about the situation. So I'll just start off by saying that I don't know the full story.
Yeah, I think you'll just have to watch the YouTube video.
Yeah, I think I do.
That's fair.
To really understand. But based off of what I heard from you, Tyler, I don't know if I'm a fan of this move unless God told him clearly to stop playing basketball. Because as we know, there's multiple Christians that play the sport of basketball without completely stepping away from the sport itself.
Exactly. Jonathan Isaac.
Right. Jonathan Isaac, Drew Holiday. There's multiple people who are outwardly Christian.
Yes.
And they still play basketball. And I think that's even better personally, because you have a platform, you're getting money, so you can donate to people who need it, stuff like that.
Exactly.
You can do different stuff like that. But I don't know. I think if you're gifted this ability, like how tall is he? Like 6 foot?
Like 6'8", 6'9".
6'8".
Yeah, he's like
jumps out of the gym probably, right?
God-given talent.
Right. I would consider that God-given talent, and I would say, okay, God put you on this earth to probably play basketball, and I would say do that to the best of your ability, because that's what God gave you the ability to do.
Right.
And now you doing that to the best of your ability is ultimately going to glorify God, right?
Right.
Because like whatever gifts that God gives you, you do your best with whatever he gave you, right?
Exactly.
So that's what I would say to that. But I don't know the full story. Maybe he heard God, like clear as day, say, stop playing basketball. If that's the case, all for it. I support you fully. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just really have to get more surrounding the story to really have a good, fully developed opinion on it. But yeah, man, I'm interested.
Fair enough.
I'll check in.
Yeah. Anything from you, Antoine?
Well, he's a former Duke player. I forgot what team he was on, but he was a really good player at Duke. He was one of their standout guys. Was a first-round draft pick. Hawks took him. He was a player I liked for the Knicks, because I know they were pretty close to taking him after the Hawks if he dropped.
Yeah, he was highly coveted as like a late, just after lottery
He was
pick.
pretty decent. I liked him a lot coming out of the draft. And then Houston acquired him, which I thought was good, because Houston thrives off young guys, and we didn't know, of course, what was going on in Atlanta as to why he was taking out of the rotation, something going on, maybe a falling out. So getting moved was obviously the best option for him, because a new start is always the best thing to do.
Right.
Going to a team like Houston that has so many young guys that could work with him, and just a younger audience around him could have helped him a lot, and he probably would have gotten some valuable minutes. But now we see this come, and it's a whole different thing. And sometimes you need to follow a different path. Like Gio, I think Gio said more than enough with what his decision is. He's still going to, of course, get his contract. So, he's still going to have millions of dollars at the end of the day once that contract runs out for him.
Right.
If he decides to come back, he has time. He's still young. If he decides to go away for a year or two, come back, he'll be 23, 24. Right. It wouldn't be anything, drastically detrimental to his career right now, probably. It's going to be hard, probably, if you decided to come back.
I think it would be, especially in this new CBA. Like, if you're 2 years removed from playing and you're not doing anything.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If he's not playing at all on the side, of course it's going to be hard. He'll have to. I would assume he's completely gone from the league.
He retired.
Yeah.
He already when you retire, you don't it's not just I'm done. You have to do all the paperwork and everything like that because you're on payroll and you're filing for retirement.
Yeah, it's possible. I think you can unretire. Unless
you can come out of retirement. Obviously, it's just
it's a long process.
It's a tough process, and especially for him when you're a bottom end role player in the league right now. You're not going to get that option unless you go to a really shitty team and they take a chance on you. Mm-hmm. But that's an old CBA thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think Spencer Dinwiddie and Joe Harris would have gotten the chance they would now compared to when they did in 2016 when they came to Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. Now it's really tough to kind of get that break. Yeah. And you really got to get lucky. So, yeah. Look, I understand kind of the mindset of AJ Griffin, especially if God told him to stop playing basketball. But I do kind of understand where maybe you're kind of taking life for granted a little bit because there's a really good story of one of the priests at my church used to be this big time lawyer and had he had 5 cars and had a bunch of Rolex watches.
Oh wow!
And sometimes you kind of just realize that maybe you're not fulfilling life the way you want to, or maybe the way God wants you to.
Right.
And he kind of got the calling. And I think when you get the calling, I think that's when you just kind of go for it. Mm-hmm. But I'm kind of understanding both sides because I understand you kind of want to fulfill what you want to do, and at the same time you have this God-given talent, and you have you play out through these 4 years. You got a big time contract coming your way. That's even more wealth than you could even dream of, and then that's something you could easily use to give back and everything like that. So I think it really depends on the person, but I think every person, or I would hope most people, regardless of whether they agree or not, respect the decision he made and wishes him well going forward. Yeah. And that's, I think, all you can do at this point. And a lot of his NBA peers, like Jonathan Isaac, for example, have come out on Twitter and given him flowers and, wished him all the best and everything like that. Yeah. So that's all we can do at this point. So,
now that I'm really thinking about it, actually, there is a story in the Bible where Jesus goes up to this, or actually, no, there's this really rich guy. He goes up to Jesus and he says, "What must I do to something, something, something?"
Yeah.
And Jesus was like, "You have to leave all your possessions and then come follow me."
Right.
So maybe and this guy was super rich, so he had everything, right?
Right.
But Jesus you got to leave that, give it to the poor, and then come follow me. So maybe that's what's going through AJ's mind. He's
potentially,
kind of, maybe that's what happened to him. But so interesting story.
Yeah. So. We'll see. Well, I'm sure we'll probably get updates on AJ Griffin, whatever happens whenever he's finished throughout the ministry and everything.
Yeah. I'm sure people will bring him on the pod, popular pods to talk about him.
Probably
not us.
Yeah, probably.
Talking about people that
not
know
us.
him.
Us.
Okay.
Yeah, us.
That'd be cool. If AJ Griffin wants to come on the show, he's more than welcome. Really, any NBA player is welcome. That's not named Miles Bridges and Kevin Porter Jr. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of our parameters here. But any final thoughts, comments, concerns, questions regarding AJ Griffin?
No. I'll look more into this one.
Yeah.
All right. So it's time to move on. All right. Into the next segment, the next story. It's time to talk some WNBA. We haven't done this in a while. Obviously, the playoffs have begun. Hopefully, the New York Liberty can bring a title home. New York sports is just dying for one at some point. It's been, I think, when was the last time New York won something?
Oh, man.
NYCFC won a few years ago.
Yes, the MLS Cup, and then the Giants won the Super Bowl in 2012.
That's the only ones we've had in the last 12, 13 years.
Yep.
So, Yeah, we'll see what happens then. But we're not talking about the Liberty today. Obviously, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, Caitlin Clark. So, basically, her season just ended. The Fever were eliminated in the playoffs. My voice cracked, sorry. They were eliminated in the playoffs. So her rookie year is complete. And, right after we've seen Victor Wembanyama have one of the best rookie seasons in NBA history, Caitlin Clark arguably just had the best rookie season in WNBA history as far as a season goes. And if you want, I can read you through every record she broke throughout her rookie year. So, obviously, she averaged 19 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal on 42, 34, 91 from the field. So those shooting splits are ridiculous already as it is.
Well, 42 is not that good.
42 from the field? I mean, she's a high-volume shooter, though.
Yeah, but 42...
In your first season, though, transitioning from college to the WNBA,
yeah.
The shooting spots are different. The line's further back.
Okay.
Everything like that. So already off to a great start as far as that goes.
The free throws are outstanding.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was named the WNBA All-Star as a rookie, finished 4th in league MVP voting. Obviously won Rookie of the Year. She's the first ever rookie to record a triple-double. She's the first to do it in Fever history, the first to do it twice. So no other rookie's done a triple-double once or twice. She's one of 13 players to record a triple-double in WNBA.
Wow.
In its entire history.
Look what Westbrook did for the game, man. And
I knew that was
the NBA and the WNBA. It's crazy.
So now we'll get into the record she broke. So most points in a single season by a point guard, most double-doubles by a rookie guard, most points by a rookie, most assists by a rookie, first player to be named Player of the Month and Rookie of the Month in the same month, first player ever with a 25 and 15 game, so 20 points, 5 rebounds, 15 assists. She is a 4-time Rookie of the Month, 3-time Player of the Week. She set the single season scoring record, the single season assist record, the single season assist record, one bad one here, the single season turnover record. But again, she's got the ball in her hands a lot, so you're going to turn the ball over.
She's high volume.
Based off of aggression plays and everything like that. She set the single season 3-point record. She has the most assists ever in a WNBA game with 19. Wow. So that's crazy how Indiana's got just crazy playmakers with her and Hallie. Yeah. Because we've seen Hallie have a couple 20 assist games. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
She set the franchise record for most double-doubles in a season, franchise record for most three-pointers in a season, franchise record for most games recording 10 or more assists. So she just keeps racking up these awards. She's the 9th rookie to be an all-star starter. She has the most all-star votes ever in WNBA history.
Oh, wow.
Over 700,000 people voted for her.
That popularity vote is crazy.
Popularity vote's insane. She's also the fastest player to reach 350 points and 150 assists in a single season. And basically she did all of this while getting just absolutely throttled by the media and getting just slandered and, players just hard fouling her and just a lot of dirty plays and everything like that. So she's gone through a lot. So, yeah, that's been the rookie season of Caitlin Clark. So I'll go to you first, Antoine. What does this season mean for her and just for the WNBA as a whole going forward?
I think it exceeded expectations for her because I think we all saw like All-Star and like Rookie of the Year, but the records that she broke are pretty drastically hard to break, depending on who else was up there. But I think she turned them around to go to the playoffs is the first thing.
Yeah.
And, that's always a start. Regardless of it being the first round, the WNBA playoffs are a lot shorter than the NBA playoffs. So the first round is like pretty good. The semifinals, of course, like your conference finals, and then the final is the final.
Right.
But I think the Fever, of course, are going in the right direction. They're only going to get better on from here. Caitlin's only going to get better on from here. She's going to break more records that are going to be harder to reach, but she's already broken and achieved. What's the correct word? She's already achieved
like so much already
that she could break her own record.
Yeah. I think she will. Yeah, she can't break the rookie records, but
no, not the rookie. But she can break her own records from the single season records, the franchise records. Yeah, she could be the record holder for probably the top 5 on maybe her franchise. Who knows? But it's a really good start. It was a really good rookie class. Unfortunately, we didn't see Angel Reese finish out the season, And Cameron Brink, of course, got injured in the first week of the season. But Caitlin Clark was the number 1 overall pick, Rookie of the Year, probably unanimously before the season began, regardless of Reese and Brink. But, it's just she's one of my favorite players in the WNBA besides Sabrina Ionescu. I think because it's hard to hate her, no matter how much hate she gets, but it's just a player to watch that's like Wemby, that's transcendent talent.
Right.
But all the hate aside, just let the player do their thing, let them play. They are human beings at the end of the day as well. They have feelings.
Yep.
They were gifted, this transcendent women's basketball talent to be one of the greats in college and also bring it into the WNBA as well.
Yeah.
They're at the end of the day, she's trying to make a living and do her job and do what she loves.
And she's doing it at a very, very high level.
Exactly. And she wants to make a name for herself, which she's already done. And she wants to continue that and have a legacy for, herself, her teammates, her team, and future female basketball players that look up to her and want to play because of her.
Oh yeah.
So that's at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, that's probably the most impactful part. Is just how many young girls she's inspiring.
Yeah.
For the next generation, it's going to be
Tons.
insane.
Yeah.
It's good. And the WNBA has 3 new franchises coming.
Yep.
We have Toronto, we have Seattle,
And Portland.
and we have Portland, and we have Golden State.
Right.
So that's 4.
Well, Seattle already is a team.
Wait, Portland?
It's just
I'm
Toronto
sorry.
and Portland, yeah.
Portland, Toronto, and Golden State. That's
Yeah.
three new teams. That's going to be a 15, which is half of the NBA. So they're expanding. They're bringing in money. The teams are going to be getting, it's going to be of course, more competition, expanded playoffs soon when those teams come in. Hopefully.
Yeah. It's looking,
But
it's looking bright.
they're going in. I haven't watched any playoff games, unfortunately, but I've been keeping up with the box scores and who's advancing and who's winning.
Yeah.
It's the WNBA is looking up from here. The more teams that are going to come in, the more cities that are going to want to invest in a WNBA team, the better. Let's get that to 30 teams like the NBA, hopefully, or fairly close. And the more money that comes in, the more money they can make.
I said this a couple weeks ago. It's their turn now. Like the MLS just went from like 12 teams to 30 within a decade. So now it's the WNBA's turn. Now let me ask you this, Gio.
Yeah.
Because you could also reflect a little bit on Caitlin Clark's season. Are Caitlin Clark and Victor Wembanyama the best rookie duo ever in sports? Have we ever seen 2 rookies with this much hype, this much production after all the hype, if that makes any sense? Or do you think there's been rookie duos or 2 rookies that have been better?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, if we're talking about if we're spanning across 2 different leagues, then no, not a chance. But if we're talking about just the NBA, we have Bron and Wade, or Bron and Melo, or we have stuff like that, like Bird and Magic. I'm pretty sure they came at the same time as well, which is pretty insane in and of itself.
Very much so.
But across 2 different leagues, absolutely, this is the best rookie class for sure. But going to Caitlin Clark, I feel like she's on a similar trajectory that Michael Jordan's on, that was on when he came into the league.
Yeah.
And I think the WNBA sees that. They see the potential that they as a league have with a player of her caliber. And I think they're fully taking advantage of it. I think even all the controversy and all the conflict around her name is strategic.
Right, because unfortunately, negativity is what drives up a lot of clicks, everything like that.
Yeah.
So, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, no one liked them kind of going into the league. But, them combined with David Stern and Michael Jordan eventually saved the NBA.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, so I think the WNBA is quickly trying to make Caitlin Clark the face of the WNBA.
Right.
I think they're trying to do that, even if it doesn't seem like they're doing that on the outside.
I think it'll just naturally happen.
You think so?
Yeah, because right now you're in a state in the WNBA where a lot of the older players are retiring, like Diana Taurasi.
Yeah.
You obviously have players in their prime right now, like Sabrina. So I think she'll just fit right in, and they'll kind of have a vast majority of ages of being the face of the league. And I think that's kind of the perfect recipe.
Yeah.
That way, there's really no passing of the torch. It's just the next young person comes in, another old person leaves, the young person gets into their prime. So that's kind of what it is. But yeah, it's crazy just to see what she did, especially after all the hype. Just like, because, you know, a lot of athletes with hype don't deliver a lot of times. So it's good to see an athlete kind of follow through on the hype. And look, I think she's only going to get better from here. I think a year 2 leap is almost guaranteed.
Oh, it's guaranteed.
Absolutely.
I mean, they give her the ball. Like, you see her usage rate, it's crazy. I think so if you have that many chances with the ball, you're definitely going to improve.
Her usage rate is like all-time levels. It's insane.
As a rookie.
As a rookie.
Crazy.
Yeah, on a poverty-ass franchise, too, that she turned around completely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, big credit to Caitlin Clark. Best of luck next season. Hopefully the Liberty win this year. Lads, any final thoughts before we get into the big trade?
No.
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right, into the next segment. Lads, this is what we've all been waiting for. It's time to talk about the big trade involving Antoine's Knicks. So, if you guys live under a rock, Karl-Anthony Towns was traded from the Minnesota Timberwolves to the New York Knicks in a massive blockbuster trade. Something that shook the NBA world, took the internet by storm. No one really expected this. The first bomb without Woj. It felt a little bit weird. I didn't see the notification at first. I found out like 10 minutes afterwards. But yeah, before I get into how we all found out and everything like that, let me just give you the full trade details. And we're going to put it on the screen right now so you visual learners on YouTube can equate to it. So here's the full trade details. The Knicks received Karl-Anthony Towns, and just Karl-Anthony Towns. They, in return, sent Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo and a protected first-round pick from the Detroit Pistons, which is top 13 protected, to Minnesota. And then the Charlotte Hornets were the third team that received Daquan Jeffries and a future pick, which we don't know the details of that future pick. It's most likely going to be a second. That is probably like protected from 40 to 50, somewhere like that. So essentially that is the trade. So I guess we'll let him floor obviously talk about the Knicks. I want to know quickly from you, how did you find out about the trade? And when?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I was actually at my cousin's house, and we were doing a surprise birthday party for my sister.
Nothing like a surprise for a surprise birthday party.
Right. And then 30 minutes after I got there, my cousin who was also a Knicks fan, crazy Knicks fan, he's like, Gio, the worst possible thing just happened to the Knicks franchise. So now I'm curious to see what you have to say, because my Knicks fan cousin just said this is the worst thing that could have possibly happened to the Knicks.
He is more delusional.
And he said that to me. I'm like, what happened? He's like, Cat is a Knick, and this guy hates Cat. Okay?
Yeah.
So we'll get into that later, but that's how I found out.
Yeah, really quick tidbit too. A lot, obviously, on our shorts, we always get comparisons to the Deep Three. One of the guys in the Deep Three is a big Knicks fan. And last summer, when he was asked what happens if Cat gets traded to the Knicks, he said he'll put his fandom on hold and he'll go root for another team.
No way.
So now he's put in this crazy ass, mental scenario because he hates Cat, but he loves the Knicks. So I'll put a link down to the description if you guys want to go watch that video. It's really funny. It's a good watch.
That's insane.
And we get a lot of inspiration from them. So shout out them. They just hit 500. They just hit 550K subs.
Let's go.
So big up them. Wow. We'll snap it up for the lads over there.
Well, we're almost there.
Before you get into the Knicks, just tell me how you found out first.
Oh, I was out at the bar with my friends, and my phone is always in my back pocket, so I rarely look at it. So I happened to just pull it out of my back pocket, and I have Shams on for notifications, and it's at the top of my screen. So I see it, and I'm like, huh? That was I was like, it's Friday night at like 10:30, and this happened. I'm like, out of left field. I was like, I'm not expecting any trade from us to happen, nor let it be Cat and losing Randle and Devo. Because no one was reporting on Cat being a target even. It was only backup guys that I've heard of, and that's really, I had no words. But I was happy and kind of confused at the same time.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that in just a few minutes. I'd called him like right after I found out.
10 minutes.
But I was on Twitter, and I went to the top of my screen. Shout out my guy Will Jones, because he quote tweeted it, because I don't follow Shams. For whatever reason, I don't. I just don't like Shams personally. But But yeah, he said his quote tweet said "what" with like a question mark, and I read the thing and I read through it and I was like, okay. And I put my phone down. I was like, wait, and I picked it back up and then I kind of just clicked. I was like, no way, this is a troll account. Like, is it like Centel? Is it like some random shit? And I was like, no, it's actually, it's actually Cat going to the Knicks. And I was just like, huh?
Yeah.
And I was like, they actually traded Randall. I was shocked enough at that, but. Yeah, that was how I found out. I called him, then I talked to my dad about it, and he was just really confused as to why they did that for both sides. Because really, I am kind of confused on both sides. But we're going to kind of take through this. We're going to go through this very structured so we can use these for segments. Because, the segments are always great to have on the channel. We could always upload clips to Twitter and everything like that. So we're going to start off on the Knicks end. Because we obviously have a Knicks fan on our show. And we have a Knicks fan as part of the family. So... Antoine, I'm just going to let you get the floor for the next few minutes and just kind of give me your thoughts on your perspective for just the Knicks. And then we'll get into the Wolves later. So give me your thoughts on how this helps the Knicks. Does it hurt the Knicks? Just your general thoughts for New York and going forward. How do you personally feel about it?
I think the first thing I have to say is just a big thank you to Julius Randle. He's the one that started our whole rebrand after the Melo days, because after we missed out on Kyrie and KD, Randall was kind of the consolation prize for that. And I'm sure you guys all remember Max Kellerman gifting Stephen A. Smith a Randall jersey on first take and Stephen A. just throwing it behind him. And that was the day after the Kyrie and KD trade signing happened. So that's what I remember, because Max was still on first take, and it was a funny thing. And
that was one of the most badass moments. He taped the 30 Randall behind Carmelo jersey.
No way. And I think Julius kind of ran with that. He kind of knew he was kind of the pity prize, but boy, did he live up to what we wanted and more. A guy that bleeds the orange and blue day in and day out. Couldn't ask for anything more. I know there were some rough times where we wanted him off the team and where we did want him on the team, but at the end of the day, after Carmelo, the player that has worn the orange and blue the best is Randall, and Brunson's going to be that after. But yeah, it's sad. I love Randall. He was one of my favorite guys. As much as we slandered him, he always showed up and never backed down from his hate. Was always the guy before Brunson when we needed him. And, I wish him the best in Minnesota. I know he's going to be out west. We're not going to be seeing him as much anymore. I'm still going to follow him because he's one of my favorite players.
You'll see him next week in preseason.
We will. But I'm excited for him in a not so big market media, I guess, capital, because
they're a small market team.
Yeah, I think he's going to enjoy that more for him, but also he went to a team that's competing for a championship like the Knicks right now and is a lot closer than the Knicks in my own opinion. So, Devo, we only had one season of him. I really can't say much, but it was a good season. Said that he had to be a throw-in, because it would have been great bench depth for us, because our bench is looking like slim pickings right now, besides like two players. But I understand because of the money. Cat's on a supermax that he signed last offseason, and they needed to balance the money out. Randall, of course, adds to that, and Devo is adding a little more money back to Minnesota as well. I'm fine with that because we have an abundance of guards. I would have preferred that over Josh Hart because we need big body guys like him in there. Transitioning now to who we acquired, which is Cat. We needed a center. We got a center. Is it the center that I wanted? No. I did not want Cat. But am I complaining? No.
Okay.
I'll take Cat because it is a team that's winning now. And Cat gives you the best opportunity to win now. Besides Jonas Valanciunas, Nick Richards, Walker Kessler, whoever the hell they were looking to get.
Right.
Cat is a proven all-star, proven star in this game when given the opportunity. The only concern that I have is the slander he's going to get from fans if he starts to play atrocious. Because we know what happened in Minnesota. It kind of took a damper on him. I think the only difference now with the Knicks is that he may not be asked to be doing a lot because of Jalen, and I'm expecting Mikal to play a big role scoring-wise. I think Cat's kind of a big upgrade to Mitchell Robinson, and I think it's an upgrade over Isaiah Hartenstein, actually.
Can I interject really quickly? The trade was just finalized. The Hornets are receiving 3 second-round picks, 2 from the Knicks, 1 from Minnesota, along with Daquan Jeffries, Charlie Brown, and Dwayne Washington to make the salaries work. And Charlotte's also sending James Nagy, who was this year's 31st pick, over to the Knicks. So now the trade's done, and that's it.
So we didn't get Nick Richards as a backup.
No.
All right.
You have 2 backup centers on your roster now.
Yeah. But back to what I was saying. What I was saying about Cat. He's going into a big market, and we know that Cat is kind of a little sensitive. I would say a lot sensitive. Like I said, if he doesn't, I don't know how. I mean, as a Knicks fan, I'm not expecting him to be the scorer, but I'm expecting him.
That's what he does.
That's literally what he does. I think you're mixing up your philosophies with Cat and Mikal. They do the opposite things.
I don't know. I want Cat should average over 20 points a game.
He will.
So yes,
on that contract, he better be.
He needs to average over 20 and 10, and it needs to be efficient. Come playoff time when it matters most, he cannot stink up the joint. He needs to show up because that's where we need him the most, as well as the regular season. But he's a 7-footer. We need a big body. He's more than a big body. He shoots. He can defend. I'm a big fan of Cat. I've always loved Cat. I've never had any slander for him. If we got Rudy Gobert, I would have had a lot of slander. I'm happy we got Cat because I think for Cat, he needed a change of scenery. I think Minnesota was taking a little bit of a toll on him.
I don't think so anymore. It maybe did 5 years ago, but they've been in good shape for the past few years. They've been good.
I don't know. I think that because I don't know how Minnesota is so willing to trade him for Randall coming off an injury. That's a little bit iffy question mark wise. You're getting your shooter in Devo, which is perfectly fine.
I could tell you why in a little bit because I know the reasoning as to why. But essentially, I do understand where you're coming from as far as the Cat thing goes. It's really tough. But before I give my thoughts on the Knicks, I want to know your thoughts, Gio.
No, I actually got a question for you.
Okay.
Taz, I'm going to reverse to you.
I'm going to say
Hold on, let me ask.
Overall wise.
Huh?
You want me to get to like my overall?
Well, we'll talk about the grading the trade later.
Okay, yeah.
Well, my overall feeling of like if I'm.
Oh, yeah. How do you feel about
Go
that?
for it.
I'm excited. It's a player that I like, and it's a little dampering for us losing 2 guys who we love. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you have to make sacrifices to be a better team. And if this is a sacrifice we have to make.
So you think you're better now than you were before?
100%.
Okay.
I think we improved drastically for the starting 5. Mm-hmm. I think we have a little more clarity now of the starting 5 with Randall gone now and Devo gone. Mitch is presumably the backup big. And there's more clarity with the starting 5 and chemistry-wise, and then we know the bench. Because with Devo, Randall, Mitch, you were figuring out pieces, who was going to start, Hart to the bench, who's Devo to the bench. You know, it's a little mix and match. But now you kind of have a definitive 5 that are going to be out there opening night, and then you have your bench going forward.
Okay. Well, Tyler, let me ask you this.
All right, let me hear it.
Whose team is it? Is it Cat's team or is it Brunson's team?
It's going to be Brunson's team.
Okay.
I think we all know this. That's why he took the pay cut, so they can get other pieces. Makes a lot of sense why he took the pay cut. Taking it for Cat is something, not really many people expected anything like that. And yeah, look, I mean, I can tell you that Devo was not a throw-in in this trade because Mitchell Robinson was offered instead for the past 2 months, and they've said no.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. The first-round pick was really the important thing for Minnesota because they gave like 5 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert. So at least they got some sort of capital back, along with getting Randall and Debo. But we'll talk about the Wolves in a bit. It is Brunson's team.
Okay.
But Cat's going to really need to step up.
So who's taking the last shots?
It's Brunson.
It's going to be
It's
Brunson.
Brunson?
Yep.
It could be Cat some nights. It really depends. If Brunson's going to really foul bait, then he shouldn't be taking the last shot because, as we saw last year, he's not going to get that call. So I expect the two of them to be the offensive punch, and then, everyone else will kind of do their part in whatever they can. Look, I mean, I guess the one positive throughout this trade is that the Knicks can now use some flexibility. Like, you even can play Cat with Mitchell Robinson
Right.
on some nights. But, yeah, in my honest opinion, I don't really like this trade for the Knicks.
Okay.
You need to know when to stop. And once they got McHale, I think that was fine in the sense of just run it with that squad because you have flexibility. You have no more flexibility now. Now Mikal Bridges doesn't want to take a 2-year extension, so you're going to have to give him a full 4-year max at the end of this season. So now, with Cat making $220 million over the next 4 years, that's really tough. And in the 32 or 33 playoff games he's played in, if he scored under 20 in 18 of them, and in 12 of them he has 5 or more fouls, that's a problem. Cat notoriously gets into foul trouble. I mean, he's fouled out of so many games night in and night out. And look, he's on a very bad contract. This was a salary dump, if we're being brutally honest. This was a salary dump from Minnesota, and the Knicks took on the salary. Obviously, they're contending, so they're going to wind up. They're obviously going to utilize him. He's going to come up big for them on nights. But as far as Cat goes long term, if this team can win, I don't think you can win with Cat. I think you really need other guys to step up because, look, outside of Game 7 against Denver last year, when Cat's not on, I mean, Dallas torched that man. I mean, he was not shooting well from 3. He was not defending well. It was just bad all ways around. And that's kind of the thing with Cat. And, combine that, like you said, Antoine, with Knicks fans being Knicks fans, it's kind of a bad recipe, I think. And even with, even him being shell-shocked by this move in the first place is not off to a great start at all either. So that's my only kind of worry with the Knicks regarding this. Because now you have no flexibility. You really have no more assets to trade now. And one injury and you're done. Because, I mean, outside of McHale, I can't trust anyone to stay healthy on this team.
Yeah. So you think the Knicks didn't get better?
No.
And you think the Knicks did get better? Flesh that out, you two.
Yeah. I mean, I think with the squad you had, I think with Jalen Brunson and Randall, I would have liked to see how Randall meshed with this team personally.
I agree.
And now, obviously, we won't get that. DiVincenzo just has best season ever, and he's gone. Look, this is why I like what Indiana's doing. They had bench depth.
Yeah.
When you have a starting 5 that's not too star powered, right? I think Halliburton and Siakam are a good combo, and you fill it out with other good players. Miles Turner's a suitable center. Right? Andrew Nembhard is, obviously he's going to wind up being a really good player, but he doesn't step on the toes of everyone else. And on that bench, Toppin, McConnell, Jackson, you have so many guys that contribute.
Stacked.
With the Knicks, let's just say they didn't trade for Cat, right? You had that starting lineup, and then on your bench, Deuce McBride, DiVincenzo, Josh Hart. You had guys. And now you've gotten rid of that. Deuce McBride is really the only guy on this bench that I semi-trust. I still don't really fully trust him. This is his first full season now making big money. And we'll see what happens, I guess, now. But he's going to have to do a lot more.
Yeah.
And look, we saw this. I experienced this with my own big 3, man. When Harden got hurt and Kyrie got hurt, Bruce Brown started. Jeff Green was the only trustworthy bench piece. Because I think outside of games 1 and 2, I'm pretty sure the combined points scored from Mike James, Landry Shamet, Timothé Luwawu Cabarrot, and whoever else played was 0. We had no bench production at all. Wow. That's my main concern with the Knicks. They're building this team exactly like we did, just without the Hall of Famers.
Top heavy.
Very top heavy. That's why I worry with the Suns too. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because when you build a top heavy team, someone gets hurt, and now you're losing games because not everyone's, you can't replace people. And it just is the whole big domino effect.
Yeah.
And that's my main concern with them. I'm not necessarily saying they got worse, but I feel like this was a really big risk just to be very complacent with kind of, the same status they were prior, if that makes any sense.
Interesting. Now, you guys, so you think the Knicks got better. Do you think the Timberwolves also got better? Did they stay the same or did they get worse?
No, they got better.
They got better as well?
Yeah.
So who won the trade?
Both teams get better. Who won the trade?
Who won the trade?
Well, I think the Knicks salary dumped Randall onto Minnesota as well. I think it's a salary dump both ways.
I think Randall's a much better player than we give him credit for. I actually think that.
And I think he's going to thrive in a smaller market.
Yeah.
Look, if you look at both players, they're both all NBA, both all stars.
Yeah.
Cat only shoots 1% from the field better in the playoffs than Randall.
Wow.
So
Never seen that before.
I thought Randall was going to stay around. I think this is a little, maybe they're not sold on Randall's health going into the season, and they're not sold on him being a piece with this team.
Okay.
I think they see the window, and the window is now with this team, and Randall does not fit in the window.
Okay.
And
Understandable.
Devo, unfortunately, had to be the one thrown in to make the trade work.
Which is very unfortunate.
Yes.
Because Devo is a great piece, man.
If, I don't know, I mean, it would have been great if they took Mitch. I would have rather, but Mitch is another injury problem with Randall. You're taking on two injury-prone players to give up Cat, and it's a big risk. Devo, you're taking on more shooting, which you need in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he's going to give you that. And, they got a first. We don't get any firsts back. It's a win-now move, and they're in win-now mode even more with this now. I think this is either win or bust, and it's unfortunate they decided to do this with the East having the Celtics. I think the Knicks saw what Philly did.
Yeah.
And I think they are getting a little complacent with how they handled their offseason. And they saw that not only did they bring in Paul George, they brought in players that are great role guys, hence Caleb Martin, all the other guys.
It's clear the Knicks are insecure. They didn't think they were good enough to compete.
I think Philly is what sent them into this
panic
trade. And they see how Philly's starting five is going to be complete and a lot more better, a lot more improved. And their bench is kind of similar. I think the Knicks are also going to rely heavily on some of the rookies, which is hard to see. But I think when Mitch comes back, of course, that's your backup big. I want to see who stands out in training camp on the younger side of the guys, which is, I guess, the rookies from this year's draft class, Deuce, Precious. I know they released some guys they signed to training camp deals like Marcus Morris and Chuma Okeke. They kept Landry Shamet on there. Whatever. It's fine. But I think this is going to be another year with these guys playing a full game. And I'm not looking forward to these guys playing a full 48 night in and night out with Deuce and probably Precious and some of the rookies getting like less than 10 minutes a game, maybe a little more to give the starters a rest. It depends.
They just need some rest. They just need some rookies to step it up.
I think they're
Tibbs doesn't like playing rookies. He never has.
Well, I think he's going to need to.
I think
this year
he's sold on some of the. I think the two rookies I'm looking at are Tyler Kolek and Daddy A, because he was their first round pick. I don't know how Daddy didn't look good in summer league. Kolek looked really good. Dwayne Washington looked really good as well, but they moved his ass to fucking Charlotte. We'll see who else they could sign. I don't know. When the roster comes out before opening night, I'll have a better synopsis of what the bench is going to be, health-wise, non-health-wise. But yeah, this is win now or bust for this team, unfortunately. If this team busts in the next 2 or 3 years, they're going to blow it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough because, like, I think the window after this trade is closed a lot more. Because, like I said, I think you had a good 4-year window before.
The window's 3 years.
Your window's
now.
2 years now.
2 or 3.
Your window's 2. Because I think the first, obviously, McHale's up for contract extension at the end of next season. And outside of that, I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to do mental math right now. I'm pretty sure by the end of the 26th season is when a couple more guys get up for extensions, or when guys can opt out and everything like that. And look, at that point, because I know Cat's got a player option on that 4th year. So we'll see kind of what goes from there. But, man, I'm looking at like the ins and outs from the Knicks since December 30th. I mean, you trade away, obviously, Barrett quickly, Randall now, Hartenstein left in free agency. You trade Boyan, Alec Burks is gone, DiVincenzo's gone, along with 7 first-round picks.
Wow.
6 went to the Nets for Mikal Bridges. 1 went towards Minnesota for Cat. And, yeah, you only bring in OG, Mikal, Cat, and Campaign. That's about it.
Wow.
It's big. I'm not saying those guys aren't good, but, like, you overpaid for a good majority of them. And if you want me, like, you asked about Minnesota. Randall was not a salary dump for the Knicks because he was just the filler for, he plays the same position as Cat. So you're obviously going to flip. Cat's better at the 5 than Randall.
Right.
But, in the playoffs, they'll virtually be the same as a 4. But for the Wolves now, do you realize the flexibility this gives them?
That's what I'm saying.
Cat, like I said, Cat was making $220 million up until 2027 or 2028. And Randall's up for free agency at the end of next season.
Wow.
DiVincenzo's making $11 million a year. So now they have flexibility. Because this new CBA exists, the Wolves are scared of the cap. And, why wouldn't they be? And to me, it just doesn't make sense to really go championship or bust with a 22-year-old Anthony Edwards. This is why they drafted Rob Dillingham. This is why they made the trade for him. Because when Anthony Edwards gets to his prime, this team can be flexible.
Yeah.
And this team, Rudy Gobert will be gone. You don't have to worry about that. And you can really just kind of build a good championship culture with and around Anthony Edwards. And I think that's so key. And like I said, with the Pacers, the Wolves either needed to trade Cat or they needed to trade both Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You choose depth over the star every single time. Always.
Unless it's
so like flagrantly a good player like LeBron or something like that.
Right.
But with Cat, I mean, the performances you've seen from him in the playoffs, this was a no-brainer for Minnesota. I don't blame them at all for doing this because I was really confused for the first 24 hours. And then I realized I kind of did some digging and it makes a lot of sense why they did this in the first place. And look, I think Julius Randle won't step on Ant's toes as much as Cat does.
Right.
And I think that's going to be huge for them. Wow. Obviously, the spacing is going to be awful with Rudy Gobert, but small sacrifices. You have to make those small sacrifices. It's going to really be good for Anthony Edwards and really good for their future because now they have the flexibility. They're under the second apron. And that's so important after you just gave Ant the rookie extension.
Yeah.
So
their depth is insane.
They're insane now. I mean,
they have Michael Conley starting,
it's
right?
gonna be Conley. Why am I blanking? Oh, Anthony Edwards.
Edwards.
Conley,
Jaden
McDaniels. Naz Reid at the 4. Or Julius Randle at the 4.
No, Randle at the 4.
And Rudy Gobert at the 5.
And then their second unit.
Their second unit. You got
Rob
Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Yeah, Nickeil.
I don't know if Dillingham's going to play much as rookie
I don't think
year.
so either.
So it's going to be Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Devo.
Dante DiVincenzo now.
Right, that's insane.
Exactly.
Ingles.
Number
you have
3.
Joe Ingles now for spacing.
Naz Reid.
You have Naz Reid. This team has
This is a championship
West
team.
Coast Pacers, bro. I'm telling you.
Watch out, man.
Watch out for Minnesota. I'm telling you, I value depth over star power because I've experienced it now. I know what it's like. Yes, our team was going to win 10 championships if healthy, but we had no depth. Outside of once Harden got hurt, it was just a domino effect and no one else could step up. So that's really, I think that's really going to be important for the Knicks because, in any situation now, if Cat or Mikal or OG has to step up, I don't know if they necessarily can. And if they're asked to do more than they're capable of, if that makes any sense. And, outside of Deuce McBride, I don't trust anyone on that Knicks bench. There's 4 guys on that Timberwolves bench that I highly trust to score and produce in a very tough Western Conference.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Timberwolves were the clear winner in every single dimension of this trade.
I actually don't think either team won the trade.
Okay.
I think the winner of this trade is the Denver Nuggets. They're gonna, bro. They have the clearest path to the finals now. Cat was the only player in that starting five that gave him trouble defensively.
Sure.
So now, Jokic is going to be guarded by Gobert for 48 minutes.
I like that.
And
eat up.
And obviously, the winner of this trade is going to be the Brooklyn Nets, baby.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
You know damn well.
I was speaking specifically of the Cat.
You know damn well. But yeah, as far as these two teams, the Timberwolves by far.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
Because even if the Knicks win one championship, which they very well can, I'm not ruling them out.
I'm ruling them out.
Okay.
They have no depth. Sorry.
Even if they get one, I think it's going to be a crash out from there.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm more curious to see with these modern day super teams. I'm curious to see what the exit's like. I'm not really worried about what they do on the court. Mm-hmm. I'm worried about what the front office does to avoid the 2010s Nets. That's basically what it is. So, but I want you to kind of take the floor a little bit. You've been kind of just mediating this. Give us your thoughts on Minnesota then, since you think they won the trade.
We pretty much said everything. I think Minnesota added amazing depth. I mean, it's one player to your bench, but still that one player is huge.
Right, and
super confident.
You are losing scoring with Cat.
Not really.
You're
adding Devo in.
Right, but you're losing
Randall.
You're losing something with Cat. Like obviously Randall doesn't do exactly what Cat does.
No, he doesn't. Cat can space the floor much better than Randall can. Randall can space a little bit, but
they do both playoff droppers.
Right.
But DiVincenzo's not.
I think Randall is better than we think. I genuinely think that.
I need to see it.
And I think on this team, I think we're going to see what Randall can really do. I think he's grown a lot since being a Knick.
Oh, absolutely.
Since having all the attention as the only good player on that team, right? Yeah. In years past. So I think he's grown a lot since then. I think now we're going to really see what he can do next to, an all-star, all-NBA player in Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Championship contending team for sure. And the Timberwolves. So
think he'll be in the most improved conversations?
I actually do. If he's valid for it,
I don't know if injured players count.
Okay, so then no.
I don't know.
If they do count, then I think he'll be up there.
Yeah,
but I think Devo is huge, man. Huge.
That's the luxury piece, man.
I'm telling you, huge. On that Bucks team where he was coming off the bench, huge for that team.
Well, he got hurt in their first playoff game. They won the championship without him.
I know, but still.
Yeah, even when he played on the Warriors 2 years ago, he was coming up big for them.
Yeah.
So. Definitely a very complicated trade.
Yeah.
Because both teams will contend this year. Both teams will contend next year. What happens in 2027? What happens in 2028? That's really the main sort of question marks here, right? As far as that kind of goes. And yeah, we'll kind of have to just see going forward what they do. Obviously, health is so important for both sides. But I'll ask you, Gio, what's the ceiling now, realistically? Obviously, we know both of them can win championships, but how far do you see both the Knicks and the Timberwolves getting this year, realistically speaking? Based on the scope of their conferences.
So if everyone stays healthy, right?
Let's say in a perfect scenario, both teams are healthy.
Everyone stays healthy. I see the Knicks going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
And losing to the Sixers.
Oh, that's right. You're a Sixers believer this year.
And then I see the Timberwolves, same thing. Western Conference Finals, losing to the Nuggets.
Okay. What about you, Antoine?
I'll do Eastern Conference Finals, losing to Boston. And then I think OKC gets to the finals against Denver. I think Minnesota goes out in the semis.
Okay, so in the second round?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I still am unconvinced by these East teams. I still think both the Sixers and Knicks are going home in the second round. The Wolves, this year, I think it might be a little rocky. I think they could, if they avoid a tough matchup, I think they will get to the second round. But I don't see them getting further than that. I think once Randall goes, we'll see what they do in free agency, if they make any trades. And I think that will be important. We'll find out. This might be the last year of Rudy Gobert in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of see what happens as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, my only gripe with this trade is I'm very disappointed in how both teams handled this, because both were blindsided completely, even though both teams have been talking for months. Never told the agents. It was all just very sudden. Now, I will give the Wolves a little bit of credit. They showed up at Cat's house to break the news. But, like, you know, both players have been through so much for both their teams, faced so much slander and backlash and everything. But they both showed up every day. They both did whatever they could.
Wait, so the players didn't know until the day of?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Very out of the blue.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, I'm not a fan of how the trade formulated, but look, it is what it is. Like I said when the Knicks traded for Mikal Bridges, they made a definite choice, but I don't know if it's a definite move to win a championship. And the Wolves, I don't think the Wolves are necessarily trying to win a championship right now. They're playing the long game. If they win, then great. But the Wolves have set themselves up for late 2020s, early 2030s. And once Ant gets to his prime, bro, only up from here.
Yeah.
Because, man, I mean, his ceiling is crazy high. It's stupidly high. And, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything we missed. I don't know.
No.
Do we have any final thoughts, comments, concerns regarding the Knicks, Timberwolves, Karl-Anthony Towns trade? Nothing? All right. Well, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think won the trade? Where do you think the Knicks and Wolves go? And let's get into the 4th edition of our 2025 preseason power rankings. All right. Into the main segment, the main part of the show. It's time for more preseason power rankings. If you guys do want to go check out the first 3 parts, obviously you can just look back at the playlist on our channel. The past 3 episodes are there. So, yeah, we're just kind of going to jump right in. We're doing teams ranked 15th through 11th. And I think we'll just dive right in if you're ready, guys.
Let's go.
All right, so starting off in 15th place, we have the Miami Heat. So obviously, they went to the finals 2 years ago. Came up woefully short this year. I think they lost in the first round to Boston. And, yeah, Jimmy Butler did not get an extension. So interesting things happening in South Beach. So I'll throw it over to you, Antoine. Tell us about the Miami Heat.
So Miami finished 46-36 last season. They were just they were in the play-in. They were the 8th seed, right below Philly. And as Tyler said, Jimmy Butler did not get an extension this past year. He's presumably going to leave after this season. Leaves to be seen. We'll see what happens at the end of the year. But for this year, it's looking like the same team as last year. We have a starting 5 of Terry Rozier, presumably Tyler Hero as well, Butler at the 3, and Nikola Jovic at the 4, and Bam rounding out center. The bench going to look a little eerily similar. Jaime Jaquez going into his sophomore year, Duncan Robinson, Josh Richardson, Alec Burks, Knicks legend, signed there on a 1-year deal. That's really it. Their lone draft pick this year was Kel'el Ware, who was all Summer League first team, had a really good Summer League, is probably going to be the starting center in a few years, I would say, if you move Bam to the 4. We'll see what happens. I think Bam's not leaving anytime soon.
Yeah, that'd be a bad choice.
But Kel'el Ware was definitely going to get some starting minutes. Hopefully this season, depends, but he'll probably be that center for the future for them. Looked
How tall
really
is he?
good. Kel'el Ware is 7-footer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Bam's like 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah,
Bam is
pretty
6'9".
undersized. Yeah.
But he's a really good 6'9" center.
Very good 6'9".
Nice.
Yeah. And Spoelstra is back, of course. He's going to be the Heat coach until he dies.
Basically, yeah.
But yeah, like I said, this Heat team is eerily the same. Nothing really new stands out. Just running it back.
Can I be brutally honest with the Miami Heat?
Do it.
I genuinely think if this team locked in, they would be the number 1 seed in the East.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a hot
They
take.
don't have a bad team.
This team just doesn't, they just coast. They don't do anything. They literally just sit there. They rest guys whenever. They just don't take the regular season seriously. I mean, you saw
Number 1?
3 seasons ago, they were the number 1 seed in the East. And then the year afterwards, they make the finals as an 8 seed. Like, this team's clearly good enough.
Yeah.
The duo of Jimmy and Bam works. it's been proven multiple times that it works.
Yeah, like
obviously they're a little bit worse now. They don't have Vincent and Strus anymore, but like you get the picture. Maybe they're just below Boston. But like I think this team just needs to lock in. I don't think it's about what they're missing. I think the only thing missing is that motivation.
I think what happened is other teams around them got better and they just stayed the same.
they have
In the East,
Boston got insane.
Well, think about it this way: the last time they were in the 1 seed, right? Boston was still virtually the same team. They obviously just added another piece. The Sixers were still up there, and the Nets were on their way out. There was really no one else in the way. So I guess you're really just getting now the rise of Orlando, the rise of Indiana.
Yeah.
The Knicks obviously making the trade, but even still, the Heat just
But even the Sixers got better now, and also the Celtics got better now.
right.
So it's like, what are you doing,
But the Heat
Miami?
should still be in there. They should still be in that conversation.
I don't think so. I think they're just mediocre.
That's because they don't lock in. They don't.
Yeah.
They just fool around in the regular season.
Yeah, I think Tyler's point's really valid.
Maybe they're just not good.
No, this team
No, they're good.
on paper, and also they have Hero's going to be getting a lot better.
Buzzcut Hero is on for a
Jimmy
revenge
and Bam, we know how great their bench is looking deep.
tour. Pause.
Hawkes, Kalawera, Duncan, if he can lock in. Remember how good he was a few years ago.
He had a big finals game a couple of years ago.
I don't know how good Nikola Jovic is going to be.
He's got a high ceiling, but man, he gets banged up every 2 weeks of the year, bro.
Burks, great bench piece.
Yeah, he's not playing much.
Josh Richardson, I
Not
think
playing
he's
much.
kind of fell off. Kevin Love is there.
He just
still.
needs to hang it up and play golf at this point.
Please.
That's Thomas Bryant is the backup center. I
He's
guess
not playing either. I think with Miami, it's just like, I don't know. The pieces are there. I do think they need to make one move, maybe.
Oh,
But
definitely.
like,
Jimmy's old.
yeah, but like, if you get a healthy season out of that starting five with Rozier, Hero, Butler, Bam, and whoever they're playing at the 4, like, I think that team could make a run.
Yeah.
This team's like, never count Miami out. That's my rule of thumb with the NBA. You can never count Miami out.
I'm counting them out.
They always find a way.
If they do make a deadline move for someone impactful, I see a run.
Yeah, I mean, think about this, Gio. In the past decade, right, since the big three with LeBron, they've either been the top like 2 or 3 seeds in the East, or they made the finals as a 5 seed and an 8 seed. So like, you can never count them out.
If the Heat make a move similar to Siakam last year with Indiana, they can go far.
Yeah, but they need to make a move.
They
That's
need to
my
make a
whole
move.
point.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't
They
even-
haven't done anything.
I
They've
don't think-
stayed stagnant in a league that's constantly moving.
I just don't think the move needs to be as big as Siakam. I don't think you need to get a multi-time All-Star.
What do you think they need?
I think they need a good power forward.
They need a 4,
They
exactly.
need a 4, but I don't know exactly who that could be.
If that
right?
was Randall,
Julius Randle, I think would fit perfectly
so,
in
too.
Miami.
It could
'Cause
be.
So,
with
too.
Bam starting to shoot threes now, which
Yeah.
is so important for them because they need spacing. I think it could be pretty big. Maybe the Heat trade for Randle because the Heat were interested in Randle,
right?
and
If,
we don't know what's going on. Maybe they also, if they're not playing well, maybe they trade Jimmy Butler this year since he's an expiring contract.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a team like the Warriors tries to get him. Maybe you take back Wiggins and Kuminga, and then that maybe gives you something to rebuild and retool off of later on.
Lowry would have been a good shot if he didn't get re-signed.
Yeah. The Heat also tried to make a run at Drew Holiday when he was traded to Portland.
Yeah.
So, and obviously the whole Dame thing, I think we kind of knew he wasn't going to Miami,
No,
but
I think that would have been the player to get them over the hump.
Drew Holiday?
Dame.
Oh, Dame. No, I think Drew Holiday moves the needle more.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Because I think Dame just adds more scoring. I think what Holiday does
Winning
fills in the gaps that other guys lack, like
Yeah.
like point of attack defense. Made Giannis's life so much easier. Made Tatum's life so much easier. I mean, if Holiday could clamp up any guard, like Jimmy Butler's chilling, bro, and he's
So
able to
true.
take more of the offensive load.
Yes.
So
Do you think 46 higher, lower wins from last year?
From Miami,
I would say probably like
I'll say the same.
47,
Right around
48.
46.
I'm gonna say the same also.
Yeah.
I'll say 47, 48. Where do we have them ranked?
So
15.
Gio was very down on them. Had them at 17th. I
Did I actually?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. Antoine had them in 17th.
Yeah, I thought I had them
Sorry.
higher than that.
I accidentally typoed where I put the names. So Antoine has them in 17th. I have them in 15th, and you were very high on them. You put them in
Yeah.
13th.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you?
After talking so much shit about the Miami Heat,
No,
you
I
had them the highest.
They're all in the same vicinity.
They're just mid.
But
That is fair.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
okay.
But like, it's kind of is what it is.
I don't think we've had one team so far that we've had drastically higher or lower. They've all been somewhat.
I'll tell you right now,
around.
there's only one team in this entire power rankings which we all had in the same spot, but we're not going to reveal it.
Oh,
So
okay.
we'll save that for when the time comes.
All right.
So, any final thoughts, comments, concerns of the Miami Heat?
No, sir.
All right, how far do you think they get? Since now we're getting into playoff teams, play-in teams.
This is first round.
First round exit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the same thing. If they can lock in, then I think they can get to the second round, maybe the conference finals, because the East is still very bad.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see what happens.
I don't think they're that bad, to be honest.
What the East?
Yeah.
The East is trash compared to the West.
I think that they got the Pacers now. You got the Knicks on the rise. You got the Sixers on the rise. You got the Celtics.
Well, I
I
mean,
think they're pretty solid.
Comparing it to Denver,
Get outta here, bro.
OKC, Dallas, Minnesota, Memphis.
I'm holding.
I
Jesus'
don't think
hand.
Memphis is that good.
They can be, is what I'm saying.
Memphis is gonna be good. Just wait.
Orlando, I forgot to mention
I
them
said
as well.
Orlando, yeah. But we'll see. I still
Orlando
think
has the best jersey.
I still think the
game.
West is better right now. So we'll kind of see going forward. So that was team number 15. We transitioned into team number 14. Now we actually had a tie for 13th place between this team and another team, but we'll get into the other team later. So coming in 14th place is the team that I am repping today, the Phoenix Suns. Now, we all know the Phoenix Suns are prone to the good old, gut the franchise for a star, obviously trading for KD 2 years ago. This year, or I guess last year, traded for Bradley Beal in the offseason, which honestly is kind of, in my opinion, similar to the Cat trade. You kind of emptied out your depth for an untrustworthy all-star in the playoffs. And lo and behold, Bradley Beal was shit in the playoffs. I mean, really everyone was bad outside of Yusuf Nurkic. He kind of was the only one trying out there, and he didn't really play good either. I think the only positive to take away was that Devin Booker played good in an elimination game, and they still got swept. So, yeah, Minnesota kind of made quick work of them. In the offseason, didn't really do much. I mean, we'll let Antoine talk about that in a minute or so. But, yeah, obviously the big thing surrounding Phoenix, Frank Vogel out, Mike Budenholzer in. So they have they now have another championship-winning head coach, another defensive-minded head coach. So I'm curious to see, how that plays out. So Antoine, take it away.
All right. So Phoenix went 49-33 last year. They took up the last spot in the top 6, just outside the play-in, and they eliminated first round sweep by Denver. Correct?
No, they lost to Minnesota.
Why did I say Denver?
They lost to Denver 2 years ago.
Minnesota first round sweep 4-0. I knew that. Just bear with me.
It was funny too because
I said it was a sweep.
They beat Minnesota on the final day when we were here to record, and then just got their ass swept right after that.
Oh, yeah.
Minnesota helped them get the matchup.
They're like, yeah, play us. Come on.
Yeah, we ain't scared.
Okay. So a new looking team on the coaching bench, as Tyler said, Coach Budenholzer is in. Roster wise, looking like the same. The only notable difference is they have a starting point guard now in Tyus Jones. Presumably Grayson Allen moves to the bench. And you have Beal, Booker, KD, and Nurkic rounding out that starting 5. And then you have a bench of nothing. You have, besides Grayson Allen, Bol, their draft pick Ryan Dunn, who's supposed to be a really good defensive point guard. We'll see what happens. Frank Kaminsky, Damian Lee, Monte Morris, Josh Okogie, Mason Plumlee.
That bench actually isn't as ass as we think.
Wait, I'm forgetting also their highest paying bench piece, Royce O'Neal.
You also forgot Mason Plumlee.
I said Mason Plumlee.
Oh,
Okay.
right. That's actually not a bad bench. The starting lineup sucks though.
Yeah.
I don't think the starting lineup sucks.
No, I mean good individual players, but like as a collective unit,
Yeah. I don't know how they'll work
no
together.
simpatico.
I think their bench is definitely better than the Knicks bench. I will say
I mean, there's
that.
not many benches worse than the Knicks bench right now. I'd say.
Like Royce and Grayson are the two main with Monte Morris and
That's
Plumlee.
legend
Yeah, that's
Royce
pretty
O'Neal.
decent, actually.
I miss Royce, man.
Okogie's pretty solid as well.
Okogie is solid, yeah.
Yep.
They have guys. They have 4 or 5 guys off the bench, but the rest is kind of Yeah, that's really it. Like I said, similar team. Tyus Jones takes on the point guard role, presumably.
Yeah.
He got the vet minimum. Should have gotten a lot more. But he takes the pay cut to go to Phoenix and run the show there, and presumably could get a big bag next year if all goes well for him in Phoenix.
Yeah.
But that's all we have on Phoenix. Of course, they took home 49 wins.
You said that already.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm getting to the point. If you guys think they hit that 50 mark, or they're going to stay just below 50.
I would say they.
Don't know about that one, Chief.
I say they get a little worse, and I know they had. I had them higher actually. I had them at 12, which is.
Oh yeah, where do we have?
I kind of regret putting them that high.
You actually weren't the highest. He had them at 11.
Okay.
And I had them the lowest in 14th.
Yeah, I think I would. I wish I had them around 15, 14-ish.
Right.
Because I don't think they'll do 49 wins again. I think they'll probably get around 45.
You put them 12th?
Yeah.
I'm thinking more like 44, 45, kind of around there. What I'm trying to figure out is that you gave Grayson Allen a $70 million contract and you're not even going to start him. That's weird, man. I mean, you're kind of. It's tough because you need a point guard because Booker and Beal are not point guards, but like you can't bench one of them. But Tyus Jones does what a point guard does, but it's like their roster's so weird.
Yeah.
It's just comprised of the same players that do the same thing that I just don't know. And this team can't stay healthy either. So you really can't trust anyone in the playoffs outside of Kevin Durant. He's really the only one that shows up consistently throughout his career.
I think Booker's can do a lot better though.
Yeah, I'm hoping this Team USA experience helped him out a little bit.
I think it has.
You said 45 wins?
Yeah.
So if they had 45 wins last year, they would not even make the playoffs.
Oof.
All right, maybe we're being a little too harsh.
Maybe
we'll say like 48 wins.
Okay.
They would make the playoffs.
Yeah. It's tough. I think they're a play-in team, in my opinion.
Yeah, me too.
I'll go 47, 48.
I think based on matchups, I still think they're a first-round exit this year. I don't know about y'all.
Ooh. I think it depends who they play.
Yeah.
I think if you get matched up against any of the top 4, they're gone in 5 games tops.
Give me the top 4. You got Nuggets, you got Timberwolves.
Nuggets, Wolves, Thunder.
Mavs.
And I don't think the Mavs are top 4 necessarily, but you could either say the Mavs, you could say Memphis, you could say Dallas. Oh, I already said Dallas.
Kings?
Kings, yeah, that was the other team.
Pelicans?
Yeah, I think any of those teams would eliminate Phoenix. Okay. I think you would need to play Golden State, the Lakers, or you would need an easy matchup.
The Rockets.
Yeah, I think any of those teams. Utah.
Yeah.
They would really, the Suns would have to really excel in the regular season. I just don't think they will.
Okay, yeah. I agree.
Okay.
Excuse me. That's it?
That's it.
I thought you were going to have more insight on that. But, yeah, no, it's essentially Phoenix. I guess not much regarding them. They're kind of the same.
Yeah.
So let's move on to team number what? Number 13. The team that they were tied with. A team that I think should be higher up on this list, and it's the Cleveland Cavaliers. So the Cavs in 13th place. Obviously, last year, even with an injury to Donovan Mitchell, made it to the second round, beat Boston. I think Boston lost, 2 games in the entire playoffs? So one of 2 wins against that team that could wind up being a dynasty. Obviously, re-signing Donovan Mitchell was big. Giving Mobley an extension was big. And really, that's kind of the scope of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, Antoine, what do you got for us regarding Cleveland?
Another, just not much going on. They finished 40-34 last year. They were the 4th seed in the East. Of course, JB Bickerstaff is no longer there. Kenny A is in to rejuvenate this, I want to say, disoriented, possibly, Cleveland team. I don't think that's the correct word, but I think it's a little disoriented.
Okay.
But again, same starting 5 as last year. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Mobley, and Jared Allen. We have a bench of Amani Bates, Karis LeVert, Georges Niang, Isaac Okoro's back as well, just re-signed, the last Woj bomb before he retired.
The final one. Salute.
Okoro, Craig Porter Jr.
He's going to be good. I got a lot of stock in Craig Porter Jr.
Tristan Thompson, I guess.
Not playing next.
Dean Wade. I don't really think that
play.
matters. But everyone else I said before the two last names. Oh, wait. No. They didn't draft that guy.
No.
I think Monty Bates.
They drafted Jalen Tyson, I believe.
Jalen Tyson, yes. He's there.
He's going to be good in a few years.
Yeah. But yeah, again, a nice starting five, a bench that has nice pieces. They need Georges Niang to play up to what they gave him money-wise last year. Same thing with Max Strus. I think we need Miami Max Strus to come out this year. Monty Bates I'm interested in. A lot of people have high stock in him as a bench guy. Yeah. I don't know how good he's going to be.
Unsure.
But that's Cavs roster as of now, barring any notable changes before the season starts.
How many wins last year?
I said 48.
48. Okay.
I think they get more.
I also think they get more. How many are you thinking?
I'll go. So 48 last year was the 4 seed. I think 48 gets them 5 or 6 seed this year. So okay. I'll go. They're going to be a 5 seed. I think they're going to go 51, 52.
I'm thinking 52. I think that's a good number for them. What about you, Gio?
I'm going to say they're 46.
I think they got worse.
So you think they're playing?
Yeah.
We're on two different playing fields here with Cleveland.
Yeah.
So explain why.
I'm not a fan of Cleveland and the roster they have constructed.
Okay.
They're not going anywhere.
Oh, I almost dropped my phone.
In my opinion.
Okay.
I think mid-season they're going to realize that they're not going anywhere, and then that's going to discourage them, and it's going to end up in a 46-win season for them.
Okay. Man, this is crazy because
I'm going to say the Cleveland Cavaliers roster is significantly better than the Knicks roster.
I disagree.
In my eyes.
In my opinion, I think this is the dark horse in the NBA. I think the Cavs, I mean, you saw it last year. Imagine if Donovan Mitchell didn't get hurt, and they could have gave Boston a run for their money. We don't know. It's all unknowns.
No.
And I'm not saying they would have beaten them, but
they would have got gentlemen swept either way.
Well, they won one game.
Yeah, gentlemen swept.
You never know. Remember, Boston does not up until they won this year, Boston always, slacked off in the playoffs. They didn't take their opponents seriously half the time. So you never know. And this is the same Boston Celtics that lost to an 8 seed 2 years ago. So I think the ceiling could be really high. I think you have the Knicks and the Sixers that are kind of, stealing the spotlight. They made all these big trades, made all these big signings that could easily blow up in their face. I think Cleveland just kind of did what they needed to do, kept Donovan Mitchell. I think they're going to surprise some people this year.
Okay.
I'm a big believer in the Cavs, and I think if Kenny Atkinson can prove that his rotations are good, I think this team can go very far. And
I'll tell you one thing. The one thing I like about this team is Monty Bates.
I actually don't think he's going to play that much.
No? Okay, well, I hope he gets playing time because I think he has a lot of potential. I think he could be the next Michael Porter Jr.
Ooh, okay.
I'll leave it at that.
That's a big... Is Sam Merrill still there?
Yes.
I think he's going to be huge in the playoffs for them.
Another
Just
thing...
a 3-point barrage. Because I think if what you were saying of they do realize that midseason, Karis LeVert's gone. I think they're easily going to trade him. They could trade Darius Garland as well. Yep. Cleveland has assets to make moves.
They have assets, yeah.
And I do think they'll make those moves. It could be anything from getting Jimmy Butler to getting Royce O'Neal or Dorian Finney-Smith. I know they've been trying to snag our wings for a while. So, but you were saying?
Listen, like I always say, this team is too good to be bad. And if it gets to being bad, they're going to look for another coach.
They're not going to be bad. They're going to be mid.
No.
As usual.
They're too good to be bad.
I think they're going to be... You think they're on the same playing field as Miami?
No. They're significantly
They're better than Miami.
They're better.
But not by much.
I put them kind of in the same playing field as Orlando.
Yes.
I think they're very similar. They're both above average teams that I think will do well if they're healthy.
Where did we place Cleveland?
So Gio had them the lowest in 14th. I had them in 13th. You had them in 10th. So the first top 10 appearance we've seen from a team. I need some explanations as to why they're top 10. Because I don't hate it. I actually don't. It's like the first hot take I agree with him.
We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I hate it.
6, 7.
It's only a 4 difference from yours.
1, 2, 3.
I'm telling you, I'm a big believer in this. I'm telling you, this is the last year Donovan Mitchell will be the best shooting guard in the NBA. Before Ant takes the torch,
I think it's already too late.
No,
Ant's
bro.
already better.
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know why.
Okay, tell me.
Okay, so I just counted my top 10 teams.
Well, don't tell me who they are. Don't tell us who they are,
No.
obviously.
But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Why do you believe in Cleveland so much?
Yeah, just tell us why you believe in
Because
Cleveland.
they're too good to be this bad. And I'm a believer in Kenny A. Mobley,
Okay, so that's what it
Mobley
is.
and Allen are going to have a nice jump. I think Strus rebounds. I think Niang gets a little better. I don't know how much better.
I don't think he moves the needle
bench-wise.
at all.
Who?
Niang's
they're
just a
bench.
role player. I think.
Yeah.
I think this team will go as far as Mobley takes them.
I think Garland gets better, but not significantly. I think Mitchell, of course, is going to be great. I think they're going to be the 5 seed in the East. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So just bottom tier playoff team.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the East is going to be close. I think there are 7 teams that could make the top 4.
Yeah.
And we all know who those 7 teams are.
Well, we know one of them's Boston. I think just outside of Boston is really going to be a dogfight for who
Yes.
gets home court in the playoffs in the
Yes.
first round. So that's kind of what it is.
Yeah. I thought I had them a little lower than 10. All right.
No, you had them pretty high.
Fair.
So they were actually tied with the Suns. However, both myself and Antoine had them higher than Phoenix. So majority rules in that sense, and they
Okay.
went up higher. So we move on to team number 12, and it's the New Orleans Pelicans. So obviously they made a lot of noise in the offseason, barring the Zion weight loss to the DeJounte Murray trade, to everything of that nature. So Antoine, tell us about the New Orleans Pelicans.
All right. So the Pels finished 49-33 last season, which got them the 8th seed in the West Conference, which is a playing team. But if the Pelicans were in the East, that would have gave them a top 3 seed.
Okay.
They would probably have been tied with Milwaukee or over Milwaukee.
Are you telling me New Orleans is going to move to the Eastern Conference?
They should.
Okay.
Yeah, 49-33, as I said. The big move of the offseason was acquiring DeJounte Murray from Atlanta to take over the starting point guard duties, which moved CJ McCollum to his natural position at shooting guard.
Yep.
And DeJounte Murray is going to be a lot better, presumably, than he was in Atlanta. So we have a starting 5. As I said, Murray, McCollum, Brandon Ingram, presumably Zion at the 4 as well.
Yeah, it'll be the 4.
And then at the 5, it's a toss-up between Daniel Tice and Yves Missi, who's their first-round pick.
Yikes.
You have a deep bench of Jose Alvarado, Jordan Hawkins, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, and Daniel Tice, Yves Missi. Whoever starts, that's going to be the backup center.
That bench is insane.
Yeah, it's a stacked.
That's all clamps on the bench. 3-and-D galore. Pause.
Yep. Alvarado, Hawkins is going to have, I think, a nice year.
Yeah.
We know how good Trey Murphy is. We know how good Herb is.
Bro, that's insane. That's their bench. Good
yeah.
God.
And then Tice, and then Missi. And then the other guys here, I don't think anyone else moves the needle bench-wise.
Now, if they were in the East, now that's a team I think that could give Boston some fits. They just don't have a center. That's kind of their only issue.
I don't think anyone's giving Boston fits,
We'll have to see.
except for Denver.
It's a
we'll get
really
there.
I think Denver's the only team that could really beat Boston,
Yeah,
considering Boston hasn't beaten them in 2 years.
exactly.
But
It's unfortunate. I would love to see Herb start because I think BI's time in New Orleans is up.
I think he's going to start because I think they're going to start with Zion at the 5.
Who?
Zion.
Zion at the
who's
5,
going to start?
Herb at the 3.
Herb at the 3.
Herb, BI
at the 4. Zion at the 5. I think they're going to have to. That's your only choice.
Yikes.
Because I don't know if you could trust Tice or Missi right now.
Can you trust Zion to guard centers?
Outside of Jokic, yes. I think Zion can hold his own against guys like Zubats or Gafford or Lively, whoever. I think he can.
Okay.
Just against Jokic, he's going to be barbecue chicken.
He is 300 pounds.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they could get a center if they decide to move on from BI. Then you have Herb move into the small forward role. permanently, and you presumably could bring in a center with BI, whoever you can get in return.
Who could be available? I'm trying to Clint Capella maybe. That's like the only. It's the only cheap option.
I don't think Walker Kessler moves the needle for BI at all.
I don't think he moves at all.
I don't think.
I would say it's probably.
I know DeAndre Ayton.
He makes too much money though.
Rob Will, cheaper option.
Yeah, true. Although his knees are cooked.
I don't think Ayton for BI. That doesn't match up player wise.
No, there's not really. There's not much flexibility unless they pry away Wendell Carter from Orlando.
I was gonna say Valanciunas, but he left there.
Yeah, he's not coming back. He is the sole reason they lost to OKC because he was just terrible. Chet was making that man look like a fool.
We will gladly send them Mitchell Robinson for nothing.
No, you're stuck with him. I mean, what happens if you get rid of Mitchell Robinson? If freaking Cat gets hurt, you're stuck with Jericho Sims. I'd rather have Mitchell Robinson.
Precious.
No. Still ass.
I don't know who other center wise. Maybe they trade Rudy to the Pels.
Nah. How many wins did they have last year? You said
49.
How many this year?
More.
How much is more?
I'll go 53.
I agree.
I'm high on the Pelicans this year. I'm going 55.
So 55 gets them the 4 seed in the West.
They're going to be high. The West is going to get a little bit less wins this year.
Okay.
So I think they will be. I think they will have home court in the playoffs potentially.
4 seed. Okay.
I think so.
Where did we have them?
So, you were the lowest, Gio. You had them in 15th.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you?
You had them in 12th.
Thank you.
I had them in 9th.
Oh wow.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the DeJounte Murray makes this starting lineup work.
Does he though?
Yeah, because CJ
With
McCollum's
C.
not being ball dominant anymore and not chucking up threes
Yeah.
and turning the ball over. I think they need a center. It's really all they need.
We all had the 3 spots away from each other.
Yeah. Essentially, that's kind of what
I don't
it
know
was.
why you had them in 15.
He's not a believer.
Not a believer.
He's a hater.
Who the hell is better than them?
I'll tell you right now.
Well, don't tell us.
No,
'cause
who do you put 14, 13, 12, 11, 10?
Well, no, we
I had the
can't.
Cavs better,
Oh, the Cavs, yeah.
What?
and I had the Heat better,
Yep.
No.
and I had the Suns better.
Yeah.
I want what you're smoking.
Okay.
I
Yeah, I don't know.
I want
It's-
I want your Bo Jesus.
What does that even mean? What does that even mean? That makes no sense.
That's the type of weed he smokes.
We're just,
Okay.
We're just not gonna.
We're just not going to go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think essentially with New Orleans, I think it'll work. I think that bench depth is huge. That 3-and-D bench lineup will eat teams alive. So
Willie Green's still there?
Mhm.
I'm not high on Willie Green.
I think he's a decent coach. I think he's kind of middle of the pack.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I think his job will be in question if it flops this year, for sure. But any sort of final thoughts regarding New Orleans? I just hope Zion stays healthy, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
He finally
That's what it was.
He's finally healthy for a playoff game.
That's what
he
it
looks
was.
like a god, and then his leg falls apart, and I'm just like, oh,
Yeah. That's why I was thinking. I was like, why did I have the Pelicans so low? I'm like,
it's Zion.
It's probably going to be injuries.
It's all
So I
Zion
ranked
related.
him there. So
I do think Bi gets traded at some point too.
yeah.
But I think the
think
Pelicans, I think they can peak at the second round.
Okay.
Yes.
So we shall see.
Yes.
Are you ready to get into the final team of this
do it.
episode of
Ooh.
preseason power
Can
rankings?
I guess who this is going to be? I know who it's going to be.
Yeah, we've already mentioned it in the group chats, but it's an interesting one. Probably a team that a lot of people expected to be a lot higher on our list. It's the Milwaukee Bucks. So, yeah. So I'm sure people will be shocked to see Giannis in the thumbnail with Cat this year or this week. So, yeah, essentially the Milwaukee Bucks, quite in all honesty, since they lost Game 7 against the Celtics in 2022, they've been shit. I mean, you've lost to an 8 seed and a 6 seed in the past 2 playoffs. Now, granted, Giannis has been hurt, but still, I mean, the team is good enough to win games. So, obviously, they make the big trade last year, getting Damian Lillard. They lose a lot of that defense with Drew Holiday. They fired Budenholzer. They brought in Adrian Griffin. They fired him 30 games in. And now Doc Rivers is at the helm. And he's still there for now. They really didn't do much in the offseason. So, Antoine, tell us about the Milwaukee Bucks.
This is the team. This is the 5 teams that have done nothing this offseason that have me talking about moves. Milwaukee was a 3 seed last year, 49-33, just shy of 50. And again, a lineup that's eerily the same. We have a starting five of Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton. Damian Lillard, Middleton. Okay. I think I'm forgetting somebody.
For who? Their starting lineup?
No. Lillard is going to be point. Middleton at the 3. Giannis at the 4. Brook Lopez at the 5. And then I guess shooting guard, you have a toss-up with, I guess, Pat Connaughton, Taurean Prince, Gary Trent Jr.
It'll be Gary Trent probably starting. Either him or Connaughton.
Yeah. Gary Trent was a signing for them in the offseason, along with DeLon Wright, Taurean Prince, Bobby Portis on the bench.
Bobby.
And that presumably is the top of their bench. You have Portis, Prince, Trent, DeLon Wright. And you have Marjan Beauchamp, who is a high draft pick of theirs, who looked good in the summer league. I think should get some more minutes. And then their draft pick was A.J. Johnson, the first-round pick, the 19-year-old guard out of, I think, International.
Yeah.
Someone they're really high on. And to be honest, that is it.
Yeah, I mean, Milwaukee they seem very content with their one championship. And albeit it was a championship that they should not have won. So I get why they're content. So, yeah.
You're going to die on that hill.
Oh, I'm going to die on that hill, bro. They were getting their ass swept. If Harden didn't get hurt and then Giannis injured Kyrie. Because even if we lose game 4 and Kyrie's healthy, we beat that team in 7 games easily.
Wow.
So, because it took, I mean, even still, without Kyrie, it took a toenail for it to just go to overtime. Mm-hmm. It started out so well, too, because we scored on the first possession and we didn't score for the rest of the period. Mm-hmm. It was awful. But, yeah, I mean, what do you think about Milwaukee?
Like you guys said, they didn't do much. I don't think Lillard really makes them that much better. Mm-hmm. I think they're better off having Drew, like a point of attack defender.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any team with Giannis is hard to count out. And if Middleton is healthy and scoring, that's big. And if Lillard can somehow just average 20-plus a night with Middleton and Giannis scoring the majority of the points, you may get somewhere.
I agree with that. I think Lillard...
You continue.
No, I was just going to say I think Lillard needs to somehow try to focus in and lock in on defense.
Oh, he's not doing that. Come on.
Well, I think that's the only way. If you want team success, I think that's the only way you're going to get it.
I think they just need to make a trade for someone at that point, someone that can defend. But
then do it.
Milwaukee's biggest mistake is not finding a third team for Holiday. They'd have a much easier time dealing with Boston if they sent him somewhere.
Yeah.
But they sent him to Portland. They were just able to flip him right back to Boston.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So very big bag fumble from the Bucks front office. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I don't think they personally care. I think they're fine with where they're at. I don't see Giannis ever requesting a trade out.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think he'll ever leave
I don't think
Milwaukee.
so either.
These Europeans are loyal.
Yeah, he's staying.
The only players that request trades are American. So as far as stars go, obviously.
Mm-hmm. I think they can make the conference finals if everyone's on point with their game, if everyone is healthy, and they could possibly give Boston a run if everybody's clicking, if they make a deadline move for somebody big.
They would have to. That would be the only reason I could see that.
Whoever it is. But I said 49 wins?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it? I think
they stay around the same.
I'll go one more to 50.
I'm gonna say 48.
I think they get 52.
One less. If they're not healthy, I'll say they stay. If they're not healthy, I think they stay the same. 51 if they are healthy.
And not that much of a difference.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
But again, the East. If you look at the East last year, teams like 2 through 11 were within like a game of each other.
True.
Like the Knicks were the 2 seed were mathematically closer to the Nets and the Bulls than they were to the Celtics.
Right.
So one win could literally change a lot.
Where did we have them? I know I had them pretty low.
You had them very low. You had them in actually. I'm sorry. I had them in 12th. You had them in 11th. You had them in 6th.
Wow.
You are...
What? That is wild, bro.
Hold on.
That's crazy.
Let's revisit when I made this list.
Oh my gosh. You had them higher than the Knicks.
That's historically bad.
That's amazing.
Let's revisit.
Well, don't revisit the list because people don't know what the teams are.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so I have
We'll do that
I
later.
have those guys higher.
just tell us why you had them so high.
I have that guy higher.
So you tried to do the switch up by saying like, I know I had them low.
No, I have. Okay,
That's amazing.
one.
We were kind of on the we're like here, bro.
Okay,
Yeah, we're kind of there.
Well, the Knicks did not trade for Cat. That's why I had them higher. Cleveland, I had Bucks higher.
Yeah, you did.
I think I had.
I have your list here, so
Did I have Magic, Pacers, and Sixers higher than Bucks?
I'm not going to disclose that information because of the. I'll tell you off pod.
I want to say I had.
Out of the teams we did today, I mean,
I want to say I had Pacers higher, Magic and Sixers lower.
what we'll find out when the time comes.
If I remember, I think
It's
I'm
okay.
high. I'm high on the
Yeah.
Bucks because I'm high on
It's
Lillard.
okay. Look, yeah.
I'm high on Lillard, and I think Middleton and Giannis work again well, like they always do this year. I think the bench gets a little better with Trent, DeLon Wright, a little better veteran presence.
yeah.
I'm not high on Sixers like he is. I think that's a bomb waiting to explode. Magic, we'll see how that team works glue-wise with KCP. Paolo's going to be great. Franz has got to show up a little more in the playoffs. Who's starting at point guard? Suggs. You have Karl-Anthony. I think I was high on Bucks for the main reasons I said. Lillard, Middleton, Giannis. I think Giannis improves tremendously. Middleton shows up like he did before. No more of the just, bad games. I think Lillard improves. He has to improve. And I think that's why I had him sixth.
Okay, that's fair enough, I guess. What do you think ceiling-wise for this team, Gio? Because he already said conference finals.
Yeah.
I say the same thing.
I
conference finals.
I still think this is a second-round team.
Okay.
I think a lot of these East teams are unserious, and this is just another one of them. Another one of them guys. So we'll see. I really need to see Giannis have a complete playoff run, not just good in the finals. I need to see you kind of work towards it because, he hasn't beaten a fully healthy team that's, not been a contender. So that's kind of what it is.
They need consistency.
They need consistency. We'll see. I think Middleton and Brook Lopez could easily be on different teams by the trade deadline. So we'll kind of see as far as that goes. But yeah, lads, that brings us to the end of part 4 of our preseason power rankings, which means next week in episode 26, we will get into the top 10. We'll do teams ranked 10 through 6. Then the following week, teams ranked 5 through 1. So
Nice.
we passed the halfway point of the power rankings, which means we're getting closer and closer to the NBA season returning. And yeah, we got a lot of plans for that. So any final thoughts about these 5 teams before we move on to shower thoughts?
No. Same old teams last year.
All right, let's move on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for everyone's favorite segment, especially Antoine's, unfortunately. It's Shower Thoughts, NBA Shower Thoughts, the segment that racks our brains, causes immense critical thinking, and so on and so forth, etc., etc. So last week we talked about what you would remove and add to an NBA box score. If you want to go check that out, the link to all our last episodes are in the description, so go check out episode 24. This week, it is Gio's turn. So, Gio, you said this is straight from the shower. I don't want to know what that entails, but you could just tell us the question.
I don't
without
wanna
being
join
too
your shower.
sus.
I didn't ask you to.
I don't want to join your shower.
I didn't ask you.
This week, I don't want to join it.
Okay, all I was doing was, so basically I was scrubbing my armpits.
Yeah.
It's going like this, and I was like, oh, shoot.
Playing with your rubber ducky.
Yeah, he was in there. And I was just like, do you guys remember that Chino Hills team in high school?
With which
Lonzo.
one? The Ball Brothers?
Yeah, the Ball Brothers. The Chino Hills team in LA, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In LA.
First of all, let's just talk about that team. That team was amazing.
It was.
That's probably the best high school team we've ever seen play.
I don't know. Some of the Montverde Academy teams
No,
are nuts.
but this team would blow out those types of teams. Like
That's fair.
they would blow
I
them
guess
out.
the players at Montverde just turned out to be better NBA players.
Exactly.
Okay, fair.
But as a team,
Yeah.
as a collective, that Chino Hills team would completely destroy the top the top-notch teams in the country.
Yeah.
Like completely obliterate them. And so based on that, I was thinking, as I was scrubbing my armpits once again, I was thinking, what would it be like if the Ball brothers played together in the NBA? Would that team have the same success as they did in high school with the chemistry that they had ever since they were 3-4 years old?
Oh gosh.
Would that team have success?
Are we
How
including,
far can we see them going?
Are we including LiAngelo?
Are we
We're including LiAngelo.
Are we including the rest of the team?
No, just those
Just
three
the
Ball
brothers.
brothers. Just the Ball brothers. You can talk about the other players as well, but
I'll let you talk about this first so I can rest my voice.
This is interesting. I love LaMelo. Yeah. I think he's the best of all three.
It's tough.
LiAngelo should have been semi-decent, but he actually is back in the gym working out. I saw
he's a good player.
There was a Twitter video of him back in the gym playing, which is good for him. He was, I think, the worst of the three, but he still was pretty decent.
No, he's a good player.
Lonzo, of course, we know how good Lonzo is. He's going to be back this year. Ooh, Lonzo and LaMelo are point guards. I think LaMelo would have been better suited with Lonzo. Lonzo at point, LaMelo at shooting guard.
Agreed.
Yes.
I think LaMelo can definitely play the two.
Absolutely.
Lonzo brings up the ball a lot better.
More better.
It's more natural for him.
LiAngelo would have been a 3 or 4.
He might even be a bench player.
He might
be
be a bench
honest.
player.
There's a gap between.
No, but he would have to start.
He would have to
He would
start.
have to start.
Bro, Thanasis didn't have to start.
No.
Like,
I think the team would work, mostly for Lonzo and LaMelo. I don't think LiAngelo would have had much impact. I think the scorers are Lonzo and LaMelo.
Okay.
LiAngelo is not the scorer.
right.
So you have LaMelo, Lonzo backcourt.
Who would you kind of put around them? I guess. Like, are we picking a team or?
I was just thinking based on like.
Do you think any team led by those?
Yeah, those are that's your core.
That's
Right.
cool.
That's your core players.
I'm putting like a. So that's kind of your backcourt is filled. So you need a front court.
Yeah.
I would definitely a front court that would work with LaMelo and Lonzo. LaMelo's gonna dish the ball out a lot. So is Lonzo. You're gonna need some shooting because Lonzo, shooting wise, is kind of an eh. LaMelo's a little better.
Lonzo can shoot it.
Yeah,
now.
Lonzo can shoot.
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, he can. But we'll see coming into this year. I think for some reason a front court of Wemby.
Okay.
Oh well, that's different. Like that would be a team led by Wemby.
It would exactly.
Just any front court, no specifics. Just would a team led by those three work?
Like those are your three best players, is what I'm
Yes.
saying.
Top three options.
They have the highest usage rate more than anyone else on the team.
Yeah.
I think it's a playoff team, but it's a play-in team.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a play-in
I like
team.
that.
Okay.
And why though?
'Cause-
Why are they a playing team?
Well, LaMelo and Lonzo are stars in their own ways. So you have two all-stars in the backcourt. It's kind of like Steph and Clay. But it's kind of a not really compatible Steph and Clay. They're not Hall of
Just a different
Famers.
twist.
Different type.
Yeah.
And LiAngelo's kind of like a Draymond. He's just there.
I like that actually.
He's
I
just
like
there. He's going to defend. He's going to be
Okay.
barking.
He's the enforcer.
I don't think Lonzo and LaMelo are barking at anybody.
I mean, LaMelo can talk that trash.
Lonzo's very quiet.
Lonzo is the
quiet.
quiet.
Yeah.
And then I guess you just throw any front court player in there. It could be fucking backups, whatever the hell. I think that's a playing team. I think that
Okay.
Lonzo and LaMelo take a team to the play-in. LiAngelo's just there for fun.
Wow.
Okay.
I think he's there for fun and defense.
LiAngelo, bro.
That's
tough.
crazy.
You know he can shoot very well.
He could.
He can.
Hope you know that.
But, yeah, I think play-in.
Okay.
I'll go low play-in.
Okay.
Ty.
It has to be a playoff team.
God, if a team led by those three,
Those are the three core right there.
this team will be very, very bad.
No.
Team will be very, very bad.
No.
They can't stay on the court.
But they're
Okay,
staying
they're
on the
healthy,
court
they're
in this
healthy.
scenario.
They're healthy.
Even still, a team led by LaMelo Ball hasn't even gotten higher than the play-in. Every time they've made the play-in, they've gotten absolutely blown out.
Okay, but LaMelo is If I'm being honest, LaMelo is better than Ja when healthy.
Ooh.
That is a fat disagree from me, dog.
LaMelo is better than Ja.
That is a hard
when
no.
That is
healthy.
one of the hottest of takes I've
That
heard.
is wild.
I don't think you guys remember how good his rookie year was and
was
how
his rookie
great
year,
it was
yeah.
going.
It was good.
I think LaMelo is a lot better than Ja when fully healthy. This is prime LaMelo.
Prime LaMelo. There's a lot of point guards I would take over LaMelo Ball.
No.
Okay.
There's a lot of
You
point
forgot how good he was.
No,
his
I'm not
first
forgetting how good he is. I just don't believe in LaMelo Ball.
Okay.
I never really was a LaMelo Ball believer.
year.
I didn't even think he should have won Rookie of the Year that season. Should have went to Cade.
No.
Nah.
No.
Or was it not Cade's? Was it Cade's year?
I think it could have been Kate.
No, that was Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Should have went to Anthony Edwards.
No, I don't think so.
No,
do
LaMelo had
think
the better
so.
rookie year.
No, Anthony Edwards was better. LaMelo missed more time too. So I don't think a team led by those two is good enough. Bro, imagine how annoying LeVar Ball would have been. Oh, good Lord.
The funny
That's
thing
what I'm
is,
saying.
We haven't heard from him in like years.
Look, LeVar Ball, whether you like him or not, he had a huge effect on,
That's high school though.
but on the way that they played.
Right,
together.
but like the schedules they play in high school,
It's much different.
They're going 50-0 and against these like ass teams.
But even when they played against those high tier, high quality
Right,
players, they still blew them out.
But it's high school.
Still,
It's still I
they're
don't
playing against NBA quality
right,
players.
but I still don't. NBA quality players is different from NBA players.
NBA people that are actually in the NBA
but,
today, they are
like-
playing against.
No, but I'm saying like look at someone like Ben Simmons, for example, in high school versus him in his prime in the NBA. There's a very big gap, but in skill there.
Not really. I would say Ben Simmons is better in high school than he is now.
He was a better shooter in high school, but defensively
Exactly.
in the NBA in his prime, he was amazing. So
LeVar also was not only a father, but he marketed his sons
So well.
so well. Now you don't hear from him anymore because his sons made it.
Yeah.
But he was on First Take. He was on ESPN. He was
yeah,
saying
it was
shit.
very annoying.
He was everywhere. Now you don't hear from him anymore.
It was
I don't know
awful.
what's going on. He had
Well, Lonzo
he
kind
wore
of
triple
disassociated
B.
himself.
Really?
You remember he had a tattoo of the Big Baller brand and he covered it with like dice.
Man, like that he hates the Triple B brand of
Yeah.
shoes.
Does he actually?
Yeah, like
Why?
just
I think his father was just too much.
too much. Yeah.
So I think for me personally, I also just am never of the mindset that guards can lead a championship team.
Okay.
So I think you need a big man. I think you need a forward or a center in order to make a team work. You really need a good forward, a good wing. So I don't think a team led by them would have been good.
Okay.
I think they actually would have been quite bad.
What if they had that guy Okongwu or something like that?
Onyeka Okongwu,
Yeah, that guy.
who's currently a role player.
Yes.
Who should be starting?
Like I said,
He's
there's
a good player.
He's a good player.
And he also has some chemistry with LaMelo and Lonzo.
Right. It's
I think
still-
chemistry goes a long way.
I think chemistry in college is better than chemistry in high school. Because remember, you don't go to the NBA straight from high school anymore.
Right.
So college or whatever you do, if you go overseas or not, that's where you get all your NBA preparation. That's where you get your body right and everything like that. And you start playing against consistently better competition for the most part.
Okay.
Listen, I love Ja, but I am taking LaMelo over Ja.
So that means you're taking LaMelo over Brunson. Because you said Ja's better than Brunson.
I'll take LaMelo for Brunson.
Wow, that's crazy. He really is the fakest Knicks fan I've ever met.
What? Why do you guys hate LaMelo so much?
I don't think he's that good.
He's that good?
He's literally one of the best players when healthy.
I've seen more from Cade Cunningham on a
No.
historically bad Pistons
You
team
got
than I've seen
okay.
from
Everybody
LaMelo
in the
Ball.
comments, comment below. Am I delusional? More Knicks.
He's a
delusional
Knicks
Knicks
fan, so delusion's in the
But
orange and blue.
They both can't be on the court. But when LaMelo is on the court, is he not like a triple double, like all over the place, like a lot more flashy than Ja is at moments? Moments in time. If you go back to his rookie year,
This is crazy. This is nuts.
you guys need to watch back his rookie
He's
year.
flashier than Ja.
His rookie year, but yeah, it's a rookie year.
Have
like-
you not seen his highlight tape?
Yeah, but
Okay.
that was his rookie year. What
Do you know
happened
how
after?
long he is? Like lengthwise wingspan LaMelo
Yeah,
is?
I have a 6'7" wingspan and I'm ass. Like,
Well, you could be not ass if you could play basketball. You could
If you were LaMelo, you would be not ass.
Exactly.
That's what he's saying.
I appreciate that.
Listen, I think we're discounting LaMelo. If he's back this year healthy, you guys are gonna see my take is gonna be somewhat right. Wow. Okay, we're gonna revisit this take midway through the season if he's healthy.
Didn't you have the Hornets like at 24 or 25?
I have the Hornets.
He had the
bottom
Hornets.
barrel.
He had the Hornets in 28th.
28.
Listen,
And you are this high on LaMelo.
Some days I'll take Ja over LaMelo. Other days I'll take LaMelo over
Okay.
Ja.
He's not even. I would argue he's not even the best player on the Hornets.
No, he is.
I think the upside for Brandon Miller is going to. I think after he's going to take a year 2 leap. But right now, all I see with LaMelo, I see just a lanky Jordan Poole.
Oof.
No, he's so good.
I think we'll see. I'm actually excited now to see because he's so high on LaMelo. So
Yeah.
I want to see what he sees
shall
He's
see.
this season.
so
That's
good.
wild.
But I personally think if they got to play together on an NBA team, the brothers, I think they would thrive.
Really?
And I think that
That would've
brand
been
would
fun.
carry. And we would see the big baller brand
No.
rise in the ranks. I genuinely believe that.
Terrible.
That's not good for the NBA.
What do you mean? Why is it
Having
not good?
Triple B be like a jersey sponsor for the no.
Why is it not good for the NBA?
It wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But is there a second part to your question?
I mean, somewhat.
Okay.
The second part is how much should the three brothers, LaMelo, Lonzo, and LiAngelo, how much should they credit their dad for their popularity and their NBA success?
I think for LaMelo, not as much as Lonzo. I think LeVar did a lot more media stuff with Lonzo. LaMelo went to go play in New Zealand. No one really followed him until he came into the draft.
Right.
And even LeVar wasn't even a
Lithuania.
part of LaMelo's draft process.
Yeah.
He was more with Lonzo because it was the first son to get drafted. And he played at UCLA as well.
Mhm.
And he wanted to go just to the Lakers. That was the whole thing. Just Lakers, Lonzo, and it happened.
Right.
But it didn't work out.
For me personally, as far as the popularity goes, I think he did a good job.
Right.
As far as their careers, I think he killed it in a bad way.
Wow.
Yeah,
Because
I will say that too.
with everything of him basically picking UCLA for Lonzo,
Yeah.
I'm not saying UCLA wasn't a good fit. I think it was. But making him go to the Lakers, I mean, that already just got his career off to a terror start. And
He didn't make him go to the Lakers. The Lakers wanted him. Magic Johnson was like,
they did want him, but he was going to make sure that he went to only the Lakers.
Yeah.
Like he was telling, I forgot who had the first pick that year. He was telling whichever team had the first pick not to draft Lonzo. But
Oh, who was it?
I forgot who. I keep forgetting what year he got
Lakers for
drafted.
second. Who was first?
It wasn't the Ben Simmons year, was it?
I think it was.
I think it was a
think
little
it
bit
was.
later.
Yes, it was.
I'm looking it up.
the Sixers.
Yes.
Oh, no.
yes.
Oh,
yes.
I hate when I have brain farts, man. This is like the worst, bro.
Look up the Lonzo job. I think.
No, it
that.
wasn't. It was the DeAndre Ayton draft.
Wasn't third Tatum?
No,
No.
Yes. No?
I don't think
Wasn't
so.
it Lonzo and Tatum and Josh Jackson?
Hold on.
Or was it Jaylen Brown?
It was. Oh no, it was Tatum. I'm sorry. Yeah. It was. Oh, it was the Markelle Fultz pick.
Markelle Fultz.
Oh, Markelle was
Yeah.
That's
first.
what it was.
But yeah, LeVar told both the Celtics and the Sixers not to take him, and the Lakers are not a good situation for a high media rookie like that. That's why it's tough, And then he hurts himself. He didn't really mesh well with the team, and it was a bad Lakers team to begin with.
Yep.
This was right before
Yeah.
they got LeBron.
Tough situation.
Then they get him over to New Orleans. He started to pick himself up a little bit. That's when he disassociated himself with Big Baller Brand and everything like that. He started to play better, started to look better, and then went to Chicago. And before he got hurt, it was okay.
Right.
LiAngelo kind of ruined his own life with the stealing when he was in China. and
Yeah.
everything like that.
Big issue.
LaMelo didn't really need to do much. I mean, he did his own thing in New Zealand. The Hornets
I
picked
think,
him.
I'm pretty sure it was Lithuania, no?
No, he played in New Zealand.
I played in New Zealand.
Zealand.
Yeah, he played in New Zealand. Kind of did his thing. Was a top 3 pick. Yeah, I think it kind of is what it is. He just is on a poverty team.
Yeah.
But I just don't see as much. I think a lot of the Ball brothers are a lot of hype, and not as much end product. I'm not saying they stink, but
I wish it turned out to be like legit,
you knew it wouldn't. You knew it wouldn't.
I don't know.
They're
man.
great players.
I thought at
Good
the time
players.
in high school, I'm like, I was
Right.
hoping.
They had the TV show.
This is the concern I have for the Bailey brothers.
Okay.
That's why
Ace and who else?
Ace and
Who's the brother?
Not the brothers, but like Ace and Dylan Harper.
Oh, Dylan Harper for Rutgers.
Yes. Yeah, that's the concern I have with both of them. They're not as much as far as in the media, but they're two players that got so much hype in high school. I don't know if it'll translate well to the NBA, and we'll see. But as far as the Ball brothers goes, they've left a lot to be desired, in my opinion. And at the end of the day, I just feel really bad for Lonzo, man.
Yes, Lonzo more. I think LaMelo still has time.
He's been put through the ringer from everything
Lonzo?
with his dad to the knee. He has a whole new knee.
Yeah.
Like, he's taken a beating, and
It's rough.
It's been rough. Yeah. So, I thought this was a very unexpected
That's
shout.
Very out of the shower question.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's still basketball related.
It is.
We don't care.
So, So next week it'll be my turn in episode number 26 to bring a question. Hopefully, I'm going to try and think of one before we record, so that way it's actually good. So, any final thoughts regarding that?
No.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that brings us to the end of episode number 25 of the Floor Spacer podcast. Lads, how are we feeling after recording 25 of these?
Great.
Yeah, I feel refreshed.
Anthony.
He's in Knicks land right now.
Aneurysm.
Tired, hot. I'm wearing a Dwight Howard jersey.
Yeah, we wore retro jerseys today, if you guys hadn't.
Who can shoot threes now?
Yes. He wants to join the Knicks apparently now.
Oh, wow. Actually, I would welcome that. If I was
We need centers.
No, honestly.
They won't sign him, though.
Why?
No NBA team wants him.
Why?
All the shenanigans he does off the court with trolling teams and everything.
Ever since he got long dreads, he kind of went crazy.
Yeah.
He should have stayed.
He started
with the
being a
shaved
school
head.
threat on the floor, bro.
Yeah, he should have stayed with the shaved head.
But Gio, it's that time in the video. People that are still with the flow, what do they comment?
Comment Westbrook.
Backwards.
Backwards. Spell it backwards. Oh, I forgot.
Either comment Westbrook or comment backwards. One of the two words.
Kerp.
All right, just.
All right, yeah, we'll move on.
Kerpsu.
Excuse me, but
No, do wonton Westbrook.
No.
comment Westbrook or comment backwards. One of the two words.
WW.
Excuse me, but yeah, basically, if you guys did enjoy today's episode, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Pushing towards 4K, we're getting there. If you're on Spotify audio platforms, give us a 5-star rating, follow us, answer the poll, yada, yada, yada. Follow us on our socials at FloorSpacerPod on Insta, Twitter, TikTok. Follow us on our socials, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. Get Gio to 1 mil. Next week will be part number 5 of our preseason power rankings. And I guess we'll just kind of see what else happens. We'll just kind of wait. We'll obviously give some preseason recaps maybe. Now that preseason will be back. It'll be tomorrow by the time this video comes out. And I think that's it. Any final words, thoughts from you guys before we head on out of here?
That's all, folks.
Go Knicks.
All right. Well,
Cat talk.
We hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. We love you all endlessly. And we'll see you all next week in episode 26. Peace